So I'm going to start us off with this one here, which is 10 evil places in North America you were warned not to visit. Because it sounds interesting.
By day, at night it transformed into the men's quarters and served a very different crowd, offering men a night away from their wives. It was during this time that the Southern Turf building was managed by a man named Ice Johnson. But in 1914, when Prohibition hit, his once booming business of drinking, gambling, and lodging came to a crashing halt and was forced to close. This sent Johnson into a depressive spiral, and as legend has it, declaring that he would rather die than leave his home, Johnson took his own life in this very alley. Soon after, people began reporting seeing his apparition in the third-floor window, and to this day, he remains a popular figure in the alley. Now the Tennessee Publishing Company, the ghost of Ice Johnson, seeks out to terrify the employees, sometimes with small pranks like moving things from their desks or moving furniture before their eyes, but if you anger him, he may appear in a full-bodied apparition that will send you running for miles. Coming in at number 9 is Tennessee State Prison. Now, it probably doesn't come as a huge surprise that a prison is riddled with terrifying entities. However, the Tennessee State Prison is in a league of its own. The major reason being
so do you guys believe
correctional facility housed the electric chair for the state, and between 1916 to 1960, 125 prisoners met their fate by electrocution. However, it wasn't just those sentenced to death that are believed to haunt these halls. While the prison was still in operation, it was notorious for overcrowding, riots, and escapees. And it seems that many souls that died here are unable to escape its grasp.
I believe.
People that
I've seen too many to not
report hearing strange sounds like the clanging of something along the bars, or hear footsteps approaching behind them, only to turn around and see that nothing is there. However, nothing is as bone-chilling as the screams from the electrocuted inmates that are said to echo throughout the abandoned building loud enough to make your ears ring. Coming in at number 8 is the Opryland Resort. Built in 1977, the Opryland Resort is considered one of Tennessee's most luxurious hotels. However, don't be fooled by the age of the building. It is said to be haunted by a myriad of horrifying entities, the most famous of which is the Lady in Black. One employee in particular had a haunting encounter
out of context of what?
Back. He was managing a store that remained open until midnight, which was much later than most establishments. He usually left around 2 a.m. after stocking and getting things ready for the next day. But one particular night, as he was leaving, he saw what appeared to be a blurry woman standing at the top of a staircase dressed in customary Civil War attire. The man knew right away it was the apparition of a spirit and wanted to remain calm so as not to anger her. But when he went to go speak, she suddenly disappeared right before his very eyes. But that's not the worst of it. Another woman who stayed at the hotel when she was 9 recalls waking up precisely at 3 in the morning every night she was there. And each time she would open her eyes, the Lady in Black would be standing over her bed watching her sleep. And she wasn't alone. Many other residents claimed to have been woken at night by a woman whispering in their ear, or by hearing the blood-curdling screams of a woman in the night. So, if I were you, I would look for a different place to stay. Next up at our number 7 spot is the Two Rivers Mansion. Built back in 1859, this mansion was once a part of a huge 1,000-acre plantation.
Yeah, I've got that too.
And just like every plantation of the time, it has an extremely dark past. As the legend goes, during the mansion's construction, the remains of nearly 100 indigenous people were found along the property.
The place where they filmed The Shining.
Despite realizing they had accidentally begun construction on a burial site, rather than burying the remains elsewhere, they decided to toss them in with the rest
that place
of
is
the
also
construction debris. However, as you can imagine, this angered the spirits to great lengths, and ever since that day, they have haunted all who reside on the property. Staff and visitors alike claim to have witnessed sudden flickering of lights, strange orbs of light, doors mysteriously locking and unlocking on their own, or the sound of loud footsteps when no one else is around them. However, the entity that should really be feared is the Lady lady in black, who can be seen gliding around the mansion or running through the acres surrounding the house, terrifying all that come face to face with her. Next up at number 6 is the Pegram County Cemetery. Back in 1970, a group of developers began bulldozing the area along the Harpeth River to build some new housing. However, it wasn't until it was too late that they realized the land they had dug up included the Pegram family cemetery. Now completely destroyed, they decided there'd be
You don't want to do that. That's a bad idea. Haven't you seen horror movies?
It ended up being spread across several of the nearby counties. However, to their shock, once the houses were finished being built a few years later, Harpeth River completely flooded and ruined every last one that resided on the previous cemetery grounds. And it wasn't just a one-time thing. Apparently, ever since, the area floods with alarming regularity, leading many to believe that the developers unwittingly released a curse on the land. But it's not just water that is causing an issue here. Apparently, there have been reported fires that reignite almost immediately after being extinguished, and residents of the area regularly report seeing tombstone apparitions materialize in their backyards. In fact, locals and tourists alike agree that there is often a bad energy in the area, which is often attributed to the angry spirits
so why the fuck would they want to hang out there?
Remains being disturbed many years ago. Next up at number 5, the Bell Witch Cave. One of the most well-known haunted locations in all of Tennessee. The tales of being haunted by an evil entity go as far back as the early 1800s and have been very well documented throughout the years. As the story goes, sometime in the late 16th century, there was a huge feud between two neighbors, John Bell and Kate Batts. Now, Kate believed that John had cheated her somehow on a land deal, and so to seek revenge would routinely torture his daughter. This, of course, made John act out, and the two spent most of their lives trying to get back at one another. In fact, she was so hell-bent on revenge that the feud even lasted until her very dying breath. On her deathbed, Kate, who was believed by all in the town to be a witch, allegedly cursed the entire Bell family and promised she would haunt them for the rest of eternity. Ever since that day, a terrifying entity is said to haunt the cave. Even Andrew Jackson, former president who spent a night there once, famously said, quote, "I would rather face the entire British Army than to spend another night with the Bell Witch." Those that visit the property today say they hear chains rattling or strange knocking sounds, but every single visitor leaves wishing they had never stepped foot inside. Coming in at number 4, the Congress Inn. While today the Congress Inn serves as an affordable option for an overnight stay in the city, during the Civil War it was used as a makeshift hospital. However, it's said that as the bodies needing a burial kept growing in numbers, doctors began running out of places to put them, and eventually were left with no other option than to cement the corpses into the walls. However, as it turns out, it is very hard for spirits to leave a property when their corpses are cemented into the walls, and these soldiers are rumored to be very angry about the way their corpses were dealt with, and so they take it out to stay in the hotel. Visitors who've dared to stay a night claim to hear peculiar whispering from the walls, lights flickering, or loud footsteps in the hall even when they appear empty, as well as gunshots and the sounds of cannons in the night. All of which is terrifying, but whatever you do, stay away from room 102, as that is where the most terrifying apparition is said to reside. One man recounted his stay there, saying he woke in the middle of the night to find he was being pinned down by a horrifying spirit and was unable to move for what felt like an entire minute. However, as soon as he went to scream for help, the force suddenly lifted and disappeared back into the walls. Needless to say, the man packed his bags and looked for a new place to sleep for the night. And I would suggest the same for you. Next up at number 3 is the Fairview Plantation. Once the home of cruel and wealthy slave trader Isaac Franklin, it has long been believed that not only is this house haunted by the souls that were here many years ago, but that anyone who resides in its walls will fall under a dark curse too. As legend has it, it all started when Franklin and his wife moved into the Fairview home, and after adding 4 new members to their family, each and everyone died before they became adults, and it's believed that each of their spirits haunts the grounds to this day. However, the curse didn't end there. Once Franklin passed and his wife remarried, the mansion was vacant for several years, until the Civil War Union soldiers sought it out to be used as a makeshift hospital. However, many are said to have perished within its walls, one of which was said to have written his will in a library book with his own blood, which just sounds like
I heard of that one,
if you ask me. From there, the property was sold several times, but no one stayed much longer than a few months, as they were inundated with supernatural entities and bad luck. One resident, Charles Reed, a horse breeder, lost 28 of his prize-winning horses when a lightning storm set fire to the barn, while others were haunted by Union soldiers crying in agony or covered in blood from brutal battles, or by the young spirits of the Franklin family crying out in the night. So even if ghosts don't scare you much, unless you're looking to fall under a century-old curse, I'd steer clear. Coming in at number 2, the Union Station Hotel. One day a woman was having a smoke out on the hotel's old platform and witnessed a strange woman wandering around in vintage clothing. But right before her eyes, she hopped over the rail and dropped into the tracks. The woman began to scream and cry out, believing she'd just witnessed someone jump to her death. But then, all of a sudden, the woman was gone. Next, she saw a man dressed as a soldier wandering the platform waiting for someone. But just as the girl had, he disappeared in a flash. Believed to be the ghosts from World War II, as the legend goes, a young woman named Abigail said goodbye to her beloved at this very station before he left for France. Abigail was deeply sad to see him go, but promised that she would wait for him and meet at this very spot once the war ended. Then, after the war, as promised, she went to the station and waited only to find out he had been killed in service. So, heartbroken, Abigail threw herself in front of a moving train to end her misery. It's believed that both ghosts are stuck in a loop and that she takes her life only for him to arrive moments later. But sadly, they always miss each other. However, they aren't the only entities to haunt the hotel's walls. Guests that stay in room 711 often complain of lights flickering or stomping coming from the roof, despite that they are the top floor of the building. Furniture is being dragged in the early hours of the morning. But the most frightening thing is when people are woken in the night by the blood-curdling scream of the woman who took her own life. And last up today in our number 1 spot, the Ryman Auditorium. This auditorium has long been the place of many incredible concerts and shows. However, despite its long-standing list of famous performers, it's also believed to be the most cursed building in all of Nashville. The auditorium opened its doors to the public way back in 1892, but it wasn't until around 1943 when rumors of its haunting began to surface. The reason behind the alleged curse of the building? Well, between 1943 to 1974, the auditorium became famous for hosting the Grand Ole Opry, a radio station turned stage show for up-and-coming country singers. But tragically, 37 performers died shortly after their performance at the auditorium, some facing their fate in car accidents or fires, while others were believed to be killed. Eventually, the old Opry found a new home,
the reason why
still
text
the
to
curse
speak
remained.
doesn't work is the beta is over.
14 acts died shortly after performing on the cursed stage. But it's not just the curse that should make you nervous to visit this building. It's also said to be haunted by Captain Thomas Ryman, who the building is named after. You see, contrary to his wishes, the space began taking on different kinds of acts, like plays and comedy shows, which has apparently angered the entity over the years, who had always wanted it to be a purely music-based venue. According to some patrons, Ryman's loud footsteps can be heard stomping across the stage when there's a performance he is particularly unfond of, and some have been so freaked out by his apparition that they left the theater entirely, never to return. Starting off at number 10 is the Old Washoe Club. What was once a high-class bar reserved for the wealthiest men in Virginia City, Nevada, is now one of the most haunted places in the state. You see, as the riches dwindled, so did the clientele that began to roam around, around, and soon enough, anyone with cash for a beer was welcome inside the saloon. And it didn't take long before the bar became a frequent hotspot visited by Johns looking for a cheap night of fun away from their wives. However, along with the new nightlife, the patrons also brought lots of violence, with bar fights becoming a near nightly incident. The next thing you know, bar fights turned into fights with the working ladies. These women were being killed by the patrons if they wouldn't give them what they wanted. Today, the building is mostly used for commercial properties, but many ghosts have been reported haunting the once wealthy halls, especially the ghost of Lena. Legend has it that Lena was once one of the girls working in the bedrooms back in the day, and tragically she was killed by one of the Johns on the 3rd floor. But she's not the only ghost who roams the halls, as allegedly the man who killed Lena felt such guilt over what he did that he took his own life the very next day on the 2nd floor. To this day, his ghost is seen walking around looking for Lena and sometimes even crying out her name. Next up at number 9, the Clown Motel. There are a few things that rival
After the Clown Motel, then I will put
if
something
there
else.
is one thing that comes close, it would probably be clowns. So a motel that's entire theme and brand is that it's filled head to toe with clowns actually sounds like my nightmare. I mean, how do people
I'd happily stay there.
Creepy clown paintings and figurines stare at them in the dark?
But I would
will
cover
never
the painting.
understand. But to make matters even worse, it's not just filled with freaky and terrifying clowns. I mean, truly, that would be enough for me. But this place doubles down as a haunted motel as well. Long before the clown-filled motel opened its doors, this
clowns don't bother me.
was reserved for the local graveyard. Being the Wild West and all, between the mining incidents and just general dangerous lifestyles, in about 10 years, the cemetery was filled to capacity with 300 corpses. And it seems the spirits of these lost souls like to roam around the nearby hotel, terrifying guests as if clowns weren't getting the job done already. Patrons of the motel today frequently report seeing strange occurrences around the motel, such as hearing strange voices or doors slamming shut seemingly out of nowhere. So unless you are a clown-loving ghost enthusiast with a glutton for punishment, then I would suggest looking for a different place to stay on your visit.
I'm not clown-loving, but I still stay there.
Pioneer Saloon. Opened in 1913, the Pioneer Saloon is the oldest bar in southern.
That's right. I was gonna.
Bro, come on. My nigga. So look, YouTube. Everybody on YouTube, you know, people who came from my Twitch. Yo, why the hell is this light? Let me turn up this light. Yo, so guys. Oh my God. A nigga got a bedtime now, chat. That chat. YouTube. We got a bedtime now, bro. Like, nigga, I can't even be live till 9 o'clock.
What happens if you don't wake up in the morning?
So I had instantly got mad, bro. I didn't want to let y'all know.
Yeah, he did.
Like, why, nigga? Yo, y'all gotta help me, bro. She gotta understand why I be doing YouTube. Like, we gotta blow up so she can understand. Cause why? You know what I'm saying? We just had to end stream because of her. Nigga, it's 9 o'clock and we in the stream. Nigga, do I look like I end stream at 9 o'clock? So, guys, I'm so sorry if y'all don't see me live. That is why my mom is now turning off my game at 9. So, I appreciate everybody for the support. But we will no longer be live past 9 o'clock. That's it. I'm gonna go ask my mama why she did that.
That's really what's holding me up.
Mom, I swear, can you just give one more chance? No, we only missed it because you was gone.
Sorry.
So like the atmosphere doesn't feel right.
I don't give a fuck. Get out of here. You gonna learn today. We'll be back over next weekend.
Y'all niggas heard that. Y'all niggas heard that shit. We is no longer stream, bro. I'm gonna upload this video like right now. I'm getting straight to edit it before she turn off this goddamn Wi-Fi, yo. Hey, y'all share this out, nigga. Get this out. Looking at, I'm playing. I don't care, bro. But look, like she only doing this cause I'm stream. Like, nigga, I can't have fun streaming, bro. I can't have fun streaming. So you know what I'm saying? We just gonna pack it up. We gonna just edit all the videos I can before she turn off it. Right now it's like 8:43. How the fuck am... Bro, I'll see y'all boys later.
Well, that was a thing. Thank you. Thank you.
On me! Oh, sorry, Superman. That's good enough, right? I like it.
Yeah! I like it!
No one's gonna want to spend 2 hours looking at some ugly bird with a red pompadour, 2 weird balls. Wait! Why are we still talking about cheering me? Is this your dog or not? As soon as I can make a counterfeit...
Doesn't look like a dog.
I'm moving to Mexico. You have the opportunity to do something I can only dream of. Stand around with people you barely remember.
Look like Dad's devil.
Well then, how do you explain this chain?
Your
No.
personal lives are your business.
Time for Plan B. One day this country will send a man to the moon. That's already happened. Am I a wizard? It's the Eiffel Tower.
The world will never know.
Oh, and I'm a senior citizen. And a student. And active military. I'm the one who's always loved her. I've seen all of her movies. I'm her biggest fan. What's her name again?
Name?
Count Leopold von Wittgenstein.
How do you spell that?
Bob Jones.
You don't want me to juggle chainsaws, do you?
No, that was... How much do you think this pack of gum sells for? $33,000? What's the magic word? I'm dying! Sorry.
One electric clothes dryer. Will you be paying with cash or credit?
Vase!
It's not the treasure. It's the quest.
Why?
It's the charity.
Hey, Andrew.
Easy breezy. It's like stealing babies from a candy store. I should have gotten thrown in jail years ago. It's a smart Alex paradise. Come on, whatever your name is. Point your looking balls at your future ex-husband. You dumb famous actress.
Can you at least tell me if you're a boy or a girl?
I don't take orders from a woman. I'm not just a woman. I'm a...
You've got to do something special. Something
Hit to the
admirable.
face!
Something heroic. Like destroy the earth.
You won't like me when I'm hungry.
I don't like you now. July 2nd, July 3rd, July 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 27th. July 27th!
You tell me under no circumstances am I to look in your third desk drawer? And I got your third desk drawer right here.
I'm Batman.
Batman.
Batman? Wait! Are you saying this man, the president of Mexico?
Did they kill you? They killed you, didn't they? But you know what? You were right. I was right. What'd you say? You were right. I'm the starting quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh.
It just is. You dig?
Hey, screwed.
2, 3, 4. You, sir, are the litterer. This is the school I graduated from. No, dummy! 1673! We're alive! Who cares about that? Joy! Chew! I want to be strong. Super strong. With wings. And give me 3D vision.
Stay away from my son.
Beep, beep. Oh my gosh, we got into a car wreck. Now we have to exchange information. What?
My gut says chocolate milk, but I'm gonna go with Australia. New Year's is a holiday invented by the media. It is!
You can't say no because it's for a good cause. Littering!
My mom says you're a bum and that's a huge job for Mr. Bunny.
Well, your mom's stupid.
Yeah, I don't like this Lola
Don't tell her
either.
I said that. You look very pretty. I like your hair.
Oh, thanks. They're my ears. So.
Bugs, look! You want me to take guitar lessons? Daffy, watch where you're going. I know what I'm doing. What's up, Doc? Nope, doesn't ring a bell.
I don't like the look of the new Looney Tunes at all. Kind of sucks. Yeah, true.
It is time for AEW Revolution. And hi everyone, this is
AEW
Tony Schiavone,
Revolution?
the AEW Revolution Control Center. Over the past 3 years, Revolution has seen some of the greatest matches ever in AEW. And this year's event is going to measure up. Tonight's spectacular will originate from one of the nation's finest modern arenas, the Chase Center, home of the Golden State Warriors in San Francisco. Tonight's event begins at 8/7 Central. You can see Revolution live on traditional cable and satellite providers, Bleacher Report, select movie theaters, and Dave & Buster's worldwide. If fans, don't forget to order Revolution on TPV.com, The Zone, and YouTube. Coming to the event at the Chase Center tonight, tickets at AEW.com. Here's the card for Revolution. MJF defends the AEW World Title in a 60-minute Iron Man match against the American Dragon Bryan Danielson.
I'm not going to judge anybody's character. MJF can be perceived as somewhat questionable.
I am going to expose his ego, his money, and most of all, his championship. MJF came out into this ring and said he hates Bryan Danielson.
MJF, if nothing else, is a very...
No, you can stop your
He tries to break the arm of a friend of mine for over 20 years, and he hates me.
He will do anything to keep that title.
Hi, Birdie. Hi, buddy.
I don't think Bryan even realizes how low Max is willing to go.
He put a bounty on my head, tried to injure me, and he hates me. MJF hospitalized my mentor, William Regal, and he hates me. I hate you because you have had more concussions and more head trauma than anyone in the history of this business.
Okay, guys, I got a question for you.
He rises to the occasion and he proves time and
Should
time
I
again
do the fire
just
heart
the durability of the
or the
wrestler that he
D&D?
is, the technician that he is.
From the moment he wakes up till the moment he goes to sleep, he's thinking about professional wrestling and ways to be the best professional wrestler in the world.
You really think you're the best wrestler in the world, don't
Fire
you?
heart?
But
Okay.
that's impossible because I am.
I think MJF has something to prove, and I think the motivation that no one thinks MJF can hang with the challenger for 60 minutes. I think he can.
And you cannot tell me for one single second that there is a person out there alive who thinks MJF has more heart than me.
An Iron Man match, it's all Bryan Danielson. It plays right into his strengths. I think we've seen a more physical, more determined, more vicious MJF than we've ever seen, and I think we're seeing that because he realizes what he's in for.
I've called a lot of 60-minute matches.
Thank you for being, you know,
devastating.
Bryan has
appropriate
done
for more
4 of his
money.
matches, and Max has done absolutely nothing. But I will say, he can probably talk for 60 minutes.
Sounds like he can't talk too.
Since you've gotten here, you're a joke artist.
The injury to Bryan Danielson's shoulder is a target on his arm for MJF. The injury to his shoulder and to his arm is a concern, but I don't think it's going to hinder him in winning this match.
This man does not give up.
Fair enough.
There's some monster behind the mask. Do you know what I think is behind the mask? Fear. See, this belt gives me a reason to get out of bed in the morning. Because
You know what I think is behind the mask? A bitch!
that all my blood, sweat, hard work, tears, and yes, my sins, they were all worth it.
If Bryan Danielson were able to defeat MJF at the 60-minute Iron Man match at Revolution, I think that would write
a lot of wrong.
This is the animation so far.
Through the hardest match of my life, but know this. After those 60 minutes are up, I will be victorious.
He's really talented. And he could be a generational wrestler if he put in the work. But he doesn't want to work the way that I work.
There are so many different
Is
things
that
that come into
it
play
so far?
in this sport. It may all come down to just who's the hungriest that night.
This business is not about being a good human being. It's about being the best in the game. Bryan Danielson arguably is the best pure wrestler in the game. The best pure wrestlers don't always win.
After this match, I think we will then see who the best wrestler in the company is. And Max, you're great, but Brian's the best.
I have legs that won't stop. I have lungs that never let me down. I have a heart that won't ever quit.
Ever since Bryan Danielson arrived, I thought he would be a world champion. I think he's due.
You can't match my legs, my lungs, my heart, and my determination to take that AEW championship from around your waist.
All of MJF's efforts to prevent Bryan Danielson from getting this title shot have failed. Now the brash champion must prove that he can stay in the ring with Danielson for 60 minutes. Also, the AEW Women's World title will be decided in a three-way match as the champion.
Oh yeah, it'll be decided in a three-way. Nice.
Ruby Soho and Saraya.
We're not here to make friends, baby girl. We're here to take over.
These outsiders coming into the AEW locker room have this
Wait.
sense of superiority or
There's spray paint
entitlement.
on
Like
that
they're better than these women that have been grinding and building this division up since day one.
If you're making people angry, you're generating a reaction.
Where are you, Jamie?
If you screw with my friends like that, you screw over me. Is it true that you're above?
Oh, hello again, Foofy. How you doing?
I've been here 5
What? What is
months and
it?
I have already taken over Jamie, and I'm coming for that championship, baby girl.
Ruby's so tired of being pulled
Awesome.
in all these different directions.
Can a woman really be her own island?
Ruby Soho's trying to not take sides.
I've never tried to be a homegrown. I've never tried to be an outsider. But what I will try, to my damnedest, is to be the AEW Women's World Champion.
Will Saraya ever get it? We're AEW originals. She'll never get it. It took us a little bit to figure out what the hell we were doing.
I'm not really into synth pop, but
to the top.
Hey, where are
but I will listen to it
Before I would have considered Saraya
after
a
TMNT's
diamond
video,
in the rough.
because he's got next.
Now, I'd consider her more of a dime a dozen.
The homegrown talent thing against the athletes coming in from the outside is real.
Ruby, those are your girls. I had nothing to do with that.
Ruby Soho is just caught in the middle of all of this. She's caught in the middle. She doesn't know what side to play on.
Is she homegrown? Is she an outsider? I'm neither. I'm just Ruby.
No, Ruby. Right onto Saraya. Ruby, she rolls a bridge. Did she get her? I get the win. Saraya giving Ruby Soho an earful. She's saying you're with us. Ruby screaming enough.
Why don't we have a little bit of fun at Revolution and make it a three-way match?
With everything that's been going on the last few weeks, and this whole conversation about where I belong and who I am, winning the AEW Women's World Championship at Revolution will solidify the fact that I've always just been me.
I think Ruby's a little bit of a lost lamb right now.
She's not really on anyone's team, and I kind of want to see it stay that way.
She could fit very comfortably in both camps. But I think Ruby Soho is focused on one thing, and that's becoming AEW Women's World Champion.
She's the underdog. And man, she's got a great heart. We've seen her bleed, we've seen her suffer, and continue to fight.
She's gonna pull this spray out. Ruby Soho charging to the ring.
As for Ruby, we go way back, way back. And you can't run away from who you are, because I know who you are, you know who you are, and everyone else is gonna find out exactly who you are.
The AEW Women's Championship is what's at stake at Revolution.
I don't care if it's 2 women, 10 women, anybody. I know the responsibility and the weight that this holds, and everybody's gonna understand and see again why Hater hits hard.
It doesn't matter how hard you fight this. I'm gonna be walking out of Revolution with the AEW Women's Championship. I'm gonna make AEW my house. Can a woman really be an idol? Revolution? You're gonna see it.
The main issue in the women's division has been homegrown talent against talent that arrived later. We'll see how that plays out in this match. Another title match in Revolution will be for the TNT title.
You're supposed to bring balance.
Samoa Joe meets the former champ and his former Wardlow partner, Wardlow.
Honestly, I was blank, man. I was numb.
As if it's not enough. Joe with those scissors in his hand.
Joe can be very sadistic.
Cutting the hair of Wardlow.
He wants to tap in. He wants to hit you right where it hurts.
He tried taking my career. And then to take it a step further, he took the only thing that he knew I had more of an emotional connection with than anything, and that was my hair.
You told me that same sob story at dinner at a bar. I knew right there exactly where I needed to strike.
7 more minutes of this one, I think.
Samoa Joe has this switch. Joe walks out that curtain, that Samoa Joe music hits, and he is in business mode, and it is terrifying.
If you pull back on Joe just this much, you're in trouble.
What concerns you most about Samoa Joe?
Nothing.
Fair
The only things that could have concerned me already have happened. He exposed my knee, and he took personal information and used it against me. I just never fathomed anyone taking it to that level.
We've seen Joe several times throughout his career really getting personal with people. That is sort of like the Samoa Joe specialty. He wants to tap in. He wants to hit you right where it hurts. Sometimes you can really push somebody into that mindset that you've got them shaken on the inside. But sometimes you get the other side of that where you now awaken that monster that's within them.
So there's nothing left he could do to hurt me.
Wardlow is that wrestler that I just feel like that spotlight is really circling around.
Wardlow is still waiting on the moment that he can break loose and have that great career that people have predicted for him since day one.
This Wardlow guy, whoever he is, wherever he's from, is a
I believe I can make
He's the
it
future
fly.
of what this company can be. The guy is a bona fide star.
And if Wardlow wants to live his dreams as a top star, this is where it starts.
Wardlow, all of man's great follies, perhaps his greatest is delusion. But I'm not going to let you be delusional anymore. I am not only going to survive you, I'm going to crush you. I'm going to smash you.
What?
I'm going to do what I have done before.
Damn.
Let's put you on the ground.
There is the new two-time champ, the king of TV right there, baby.
Put you to sleep.
Wait, what is this? Wardlow's not looking to talk, and he is fired up. He is raining down shots on Joe.
Blacked out rage is the only thing I felt in that moment. It's the only thing I felt ever since. I feel nothing but rage.
Do you even understand the depth of what you stepped into?
Joe's killed you. I've had to walk around backstage listening to people talk about how Joe is the most dangerous man on this roster. No, you're not.
Wardlow, at AEW Revolution, my friend had a revelation that you stood in front of the one true king of television, and you were found wanting.
At Revolution, Joe, I am going
I'm jerking on my popcorn.
This TNT title match Revolution has become more of a personal issue between Wardlow and the champion Samoa Joe than about a battle for a championship. There'll be quite a collision as well at Revolution as Jon Moxley battles Hangman Adam Page in a Texas death match.
I mean, if me and Hangman walk down a dark alley, who the do you think's coming out? No rules, no life. One guy enters, one guy leaves. Who the do you think's coming out? If you don't want it to be over, then it doesn't have to be over. Just because you don't know the counter to...
I nailed half of it.
After all this, that we have seen the hard-hitting action, it was just a simple counter that won the match.
I'm supposed to be celebrating here. I won 2 out of 3. I should be happy.
You won 2 out of 3. What is he upset about? After you lose 2 out of 3, you say, all right, I lost. You should shake hands, you're the better man. You're the better man, you're the end of the year. That's one I said.
Well, that was the best case scenario. That he got in and didn't get knocked down and didn't
Sorry
get
for
his arm
burping
snapped,
into the microphone.
Didn't get concussed again.
It needed to come out.
That was the best case scenario for him. He should be happy.
Hey, you'll beat him 3 out of 5. Beat him 5 out of 7. As many as he wants. As many as he wants. He'll keep winning.
Lesson. Maybe it's time for another one.
You want to talk about our third match? Our third match, I beat John Moxley straight for 2 minutes. At the very last second, he reached up, grabs my head, gets me through the old ball and chain pin, and manages to, I think he would agree, escape.
If I had to think of one
And thank you
word
for
to
rating me,
describe
Floofy.
Moxley and Hangman Adam Page, this rivalry, physicality.
It's about more than wins and losses. It's about more than championships. This has become deeply personal.
I know you think we
It's about more.
This is purely just 2 wrestlers wanting to prove to be the best.
If there's ever a definition of slobberknocker, it's Moxley and Page.
There is no chance that you'll ever beat me again.
If you'd have asked me about John Moxley months and months ago, I would have said that I maybe admired him.
He wanted to kiss his lip. It looked like he wanted to kiss him on the lip. He wanted to kiss him on the lip.
You guys are going to collide, and we've seen their collisions before. They've both put each other on the shelf and in the hospital and whatnot.
Texas.
Buckle up. It's going to be nasty.
The idea of a Texas death match is to not answer the bell.
It was all pretty bad, TMNT. It was all pretty bad.
If you want to go down that road,
Yeah.
true war of attrition, absolutely.
That is my understanding, yes. AEW is like
Only
WWE.
one of us survives. All you gotta do is say the goddamn word.
You want me to paint a picture of what the match is going to be like? I'll paint a picture of Revolution in blood. Moxley loves to bleed. He bleeds all the time. Well, he's damn sure going to bleed at Revolution enough to paint the entire canvas red.
I think that this is going to be almost a therapeutic moment for both of these guys at Revolution. A dangerous, bloody,
It's a
brutal,
nice dance.
therapeutic moment.
When you put me in a Texas death match, it will be the end of you.
It is not something to be proud of. It is not something to aspire to. I live for this.
What could happen to me in this Texas death match after what happened in our first encounter? I don't know. And to be honest, yeah, that is a little scary.
But you are not the same animal as me.
I think this could be the scariest match we've ever seen in AEW.
Texas Death Match, simply put, means a fight until the last man is standing. There have been many of these
Then
matches
why not
throughout
just
the
call the
years
last
of pro
man
wrestling.
standing?
Chances are, Mox and Hangman will take a Texas Death Match to a whole new
What,
level.
did it actually
Here's
sound
what else
alright?
is on the Revolution card, a 4-way match for the AEW World Tag Team Championship as the Guns defend against the Acclaimed, Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal, and the duo of Orange Cassidy and Danhausen. The AEW World Trios Championship is on the line at Revolution as the Elite, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, defend against the House of Black. Ricky Starks meets Chris Jericho with the entire Jericho Appreciation Society banned from
Well, that's
ringside.
nice of you to say,
And we'll
but I
have
know
a
it's not
final
true.
burial match with grave consequences as Jungle Boy will meet Christian Cage. The object is to put your opponent in
I
the
am
casket
trying to come
and
out
to
with a
bury
cover
him.
of something.
AEW
I'm working on it.
Revolution tonight,
Getting
live
a-
from the Chase Center in San
license
Francisco
so that
at
I
8,
can
7
release
Central.
a cover.
Coming to the event at the
Yeah.
Chase Center tonight. Tickets at
Then I'll have my own video
AEWTV.com.
clip.
Also, be sure to tune in to
go.
our
Hey,
AEW
Pyra!
YouTube channel tonight, beginning at 7, 6 Central for 0 hour, originating from the Chase Center. We'll get you ready for the upcoming Revolution pay-per-view, the special features, interviews, and live matches. That's 0 hour tonight at 7, 6 Central, beginning 1 hour before Revolution takes the air. Now, one match we already have you on 0 hour will be a trios match. The Lucha Brothers team with Mark Briscoe against Tony Nese, Josh
He got
Wood,
no
and
front
Ray Daivari,
teeth.
along with
He
Mark
got no
Corbin.
front teeth.
Join us tonight, 8, 7 Central, for a night you will never forget.
I
You
wish.
can be part of Revolution on traditional cable
I
and satellite
seriously
providers,
wish, but,
Bleacher
yeah.
Report, select movie theaters, and Dave & Buster's worldwide. International fans, don't forget to order Revolution available through FightPPV.com, The Zone, and YouTube. This is Tony Schiavone. I'll see you tonight for Revolution. We are AEW.
Maybe one day. That would be amazing. I'd love it. I'm afraid that everything. I could have to do my makeup.
Just trust me. She's saying, baby, 생각하지 마. There's not a bad thing here tonight. Baby, 떠나도 좋아. 있어, 전에까지만. Watch me go, and I trực 밤새도록 away. 아침도 취했어 오지 않게. 시키던 음악 속에 희미해지나. Drama got the bonus story 익숙해져가. 내가 알던 나를 찾기 멀리 온 것 같게. I know, you know, I know. I'd rather be lost in the lights, lost in the lights. I'm out of my mind. 이 밤이 끝을 잡아줘. 매일 밤 you spin me up high. 너를 보면 die. Let me have a taste. Give me a good ride. Enough fun, enough fun, enough fun. Always gonna be a good night. Enough fun, forever you think about.
You can tell this was written for dancing too, because it's a very simple thing. But not bad. I wouldn't go out of my way for it, but it's not bad.
겨울 속에 비친 나이. 하염없이 미쳐가. I'm feeling so alive, wasting time. I'd rather be lost in the lights, lost in the lights. I'm out of my mind. 이 밤이 끝을 잡아줘. 매일 밤 you spin me up high. 너를 보면 die. Let me have a taste. Give me a good ride. Enough fun, enough fun, enough fun. Always gonna be a good night. Enough fun, forever you. This is what break me. This is gonna break me. No, don't you break me. I wanna stay in this dream. Don't save me. Don't you try to save me. I need a way we can dream more.
Alone again. What's the point?
Wasn't bad. Not bad at all.
Theater that you don't want to see a show at to a bed and breakfast you shouldn't be booking with your friends. Here are the top 5 haunted places in Oklahoma.
Need to see that song live, dude.
Number 5 on this list is the Thunderbird Youth Academy. The Thunderbird Youth Academy is located in Pryor and is deeply haunted with the ghosts of students who have long passed. Back in 1942, it suffered a horrible tragedy where a lot of the children staying here passed away. Back then it was an orphanage, and it was still years before it would become a military school. It got hit hard with a devastating tornado that the building simply wasn't ready for.
He is pretty good.
Tons of the children who lived there perished due to the storm, and now their ghosts are said to linger here. Stories where people will wake up in their beds and find literally other children lying in them, staring directly at them, are far too common. These stories also don't even factor in one of the most famous ghosts there, Hector. Hector is a young boy who haunts the 3rd Platoon building. Hector's story is far more graphic than the other children who died. It's not confirmed, but some say that the cook took Hector's life and did it in a fashion that I can't go into detail on YouTube about. Either way, now his spirit forever haunts this building and all of those who reside in it. I personally would never want to go to military school anyways as a kid, but having it be haunted would make it even worse. Number 4 on this list is the Tulsa Theater. It's weird how some places attract ghosts and spirits more than others. Theaters are one of the most prominent spots for paranormal presences, and this theater is no exception. News Oklahoma says, Tulsa Theater, formerly known as Brady Theater, used to be a vaudeville house providing entertainment to audiences. The space went through a lot over the years, including being abandoned and almost destroyed. But after renovations and a name change, the Tulsa Theater reopened. Legend is the space is haunted by an Italian opera singer named Enrico Caruso. Caruso took in the sights around town while in Tulsa to perform. He wanted to see the oil wells and how they made them, said French. And as they came back, it was raining, it was cold, miserable, and the car broke down. Despite already being sick, Caruso made the journey back on foot in the rain to give what turned out to be his last performance ever. He had a great performance according to history, French said. It was one of his best. Standing ovations and the whole 9 yards. Unfortunately, after returning to Italy, Caruso died. French said many say Tulsa caused Caruso's demise, and that's why it's believed he haunts the theater. Even Caruso's manager named Tulsa as the reason for his death. But it goes deeper than just Caruso. When it was the Brady Theater, the building is rumored to have played a role in the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre. I mean, it played a huge role. It housed some of the victims. There are rumors they died inside and some other horrible things that happened to them, French said. We actually captured electronic video phenomena evidence that almost confirms all of the stories there. The Tulsa Race Massacre was a horrible display of hate and racism. On May 31st in 1921, a bunch of white residents who had been given weapons by city officials attacked a bunch of black residents. This incident lasted over 24 hours and saw more than 800 people get injured and at least 36 people die. A horrifying tragedy that never should have occurred. It's no wonder that any place tied to this incident could be haunted. Number 3 on this list is the Hex House. Yeah, that's right guys, this place is literally called the Hex House, so it's no wonder why it's making the list. News Oklahoma says again, so this is something we feature in our serial killer tour. The new Hex House is inspired by the home that used to belong to Carol Ann Smith. French said the original Hex House, located at 10 East 21st Street, has negative energy attached. I mean, the things that she did with her nephew. They were dumping hot water on people that lived in the duplex next to them. There's also that whole history of her keeping those 2 hostages in the basement and kind of hypnotizing them, putting hexes on them. Yes, it's insane, said French. Claims of windshield wipers or stereos going on while the car is off are frequent if parked nearby. French even says they tested the theory during a tour and claimed she never did it again. We turned the bus off, but then it wouldn't start back up. It wasn't until a lady said she called Carol Ann a bad name and then she apologized. As soon as she was done, the bus came immediately back on, French says. The reason this house is on the killer tour list is due to what went down in 1928, guys. John Blymier, after receiving consultation from a woman named Nellie Knoll, thought that he had been cursed by another man named Nelson Raymer. John and some of his friends broke into the home, which is the Hex House, and then brutally killed Nelson. After they did this, they tried to set the house on fire, but it actually didn't burn. Since then, it's been a hotspot for ghosts, specifically that of Nelson Raymer. Number 2 on this list is the Stone Lion Inn Bed and Breakfast. This is definitely not the Airbnb you want to be booking for you and your pals for that relaxing weekend getaway you've been picturing. Travel Oklahoma says, stay at the Stone Lion Inn bed and breakfast in Guthrie at your own risk, as a mischievous ghost child has been seen and felt throughout the home. The spirit, said to be that of 8-year-old Irene Houghton, has been known to squeeze the toes of sleeping guests or even crawl into bed with them. The eerie tap 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 of a child's footsteps has also been heard leading from the 2nd floor to the 3rd. According to legend, the 8,000 square foot home was where the child met her fate when a nurse her with cough syrup containing them. The family later moved on, but little Irene refused to leave. After the Houghton family moved out, the home changed into a boarding house and then a funeral home. Paranormal investigative teams have encountered several other ghosts, including a strong male entity who lingers in the basement where the morgue once was. Through the years of people staying here, there have been tons of reports of sightings and interactions with ghostly entities. As mentioned, it's pretty normal to be visited by Irene, the ghost of the young girl who passed here. A bit of a rarer encounter is that of a ghostly music box, though. The owner, Becky, has come out and said, one of my guests just the other day came out of this room and said, all night long, I heard this music box. Now, it's unclear whether one of the ghosts was playing this music box or if the box just sort of started on its own, but that would definitely be enough to keep me awake if I was that guest. Pictures, videos, and voice recordings have all been captured here by paranormal investigators many times. It was first investigated by a paranormal specialist 18 years ago, and since then, it's been a hotspot for all ghost hunters alike to check out. Unless you're well versed in dealings with spirits, I'd pick a different Airbnb for you and your buddies. And number 1 on this list is Guthrie's Boys Home. This site started out as an orphanage in 1923 when it was built. Now, becoming an orphan would truly be a horrible experience that I can't even begin to understand, but I can guarantee you that it would have been far worse if you got sent to this orphanage. That's because of the horrible atrocities committed here. There is no denying that the maid who worked here back then was sick. Mentally sick, deranged to a point where she felt a desire to these young orphans. It's believed that she would often abuse these innocent children in any number of ways. Now, this isn't confirmed, but these are rumors. It's also thought that she even took the life of a few people while she was working here and made it look like an accident. This all culminated one day when she finally took her own life by jumping out of the bell tower and falling to her death. This has obviously led to some spiritual presences staying behind. Lucky for all of us, it's not the spirit of this sick old maid who died. However, as sad as it is, it's the spirits of some of these children here who were wronged. There is apparently one girl who appears to visitors and begs for safety. Crying and screaming children can be heard echoing throughout the building at all hours of the day. The sounds of little feet running up and down the halls are regularly reported as well. Believe it or not, this isn't enough to drive people away though, because it's a popular wedding spot. Definitely not the area I would choose to get married if it was up to me though. But anyways, guys, there you have it. That is our list of the top 5 haunted places in Oklahoma you should never visit. Please comment down below what you thought about this list and some other haunted spots around the area that you may know about. Also, please hit the like and subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching. I've been your host, Nicholas Playlog, and I'll catch you next time.
How does that look? Understandable. Better make sure not to get married in that wedding, I guess. What do you think of my animation right now? edgy, yeah, it does seem that way, doesn't it? They've given him a name. It makes no sense to me.
Can you see all of me? Walk into my mystery. Step inside and hold for dear life. Do you remember me? Capture you and set you free. I am all of me. I am.
Yeah.
Nevada, and oh boy does it have a history. In its heyday, the saloon was
Now
no
back
stranger
to
a bar
more
fight,
evil
and as a
places
result,
in
there
North
are quite a
America
few
where you were
portholes
warned
lining
not
the
to visit.
walls. But
Because
that is
that's
not
what
the
I
worst
have
of
right
it.
now,
It's
unless
said
you guys have
American
something
actor
else.
Clark Gable frequented this establishment and was here waiting for Carol Lombard the night that a search party went out looking for her after a nearby plane crash. But the most tragic story is that of the bartender, who's said to have taken his own life right before a full house of patrons. As a result, many have said that the Pioneer Saloon is home to a whole mess of spirits. Of course, most famously the bartender, but also an entity referred to as Ruby, and even the ghost of Carol Lombard herself. Over the years, many paranormal investigators have popped in hoping to snag a recording of a strange noise or catch an unusual sighting on video, and believe it or not, they all claim to have been successful. But it's not just the experts. Patrons of the bar too claim to see doors slam shut or hear gunshots at night. But nothing is as scary as the apparition of the lonely bartender, who's said to terrify even the most skeptical guests who visit. Coming in at number 7, Yellow Jacket Mine. Widely believed to be the most haunted place across Nevada, this terrifying mine got its claim to fame over 150 years ago. Back in 1869, during the early hours of the morning, a huge fire broke out inside the mine, spreading up to the 800-foot level. Completely unaware, the day crew began their workday descending into the mine, and soon burning timbers started collapsing around them.
Oh, hello, Martis. How you doing?
Despite firefighters
Welcome to
arriving on
Morbid
the
Monday.
scene, the water pressure wasn't strong enough to extinguish the fire, and so the blaze continued for the next 3 weeks. Tragically, 39 miners lost their lives inside, but the strange thing is that only 34 bodies were ever recovered. Many over the years have wondered where the remains of the missing miners have gone, but one thing is for sure, all the men's spirits have stayed behind behind to haunt any who stepped foot on the property. Today, while you can't enter the mine itself,
Doing all
those
right.
that visit
Glad
the
to hear
area
it.
have reported seeing blue and white orbs floating around the main entrance. But most frightening of all are the screams and cries that can be heard echoing from the tunnels.
You want to see my animation?
Coming in at number 6,
Because that's what I'm drawing today.
Zach Bagans' Haunted Museum. It may be a popular tourist attraction for Las Vegas visitors, but that doesn't mean it's not also a terrifyingly haunted museum. If you don't already know, Zach Bagans was once one of America's most famous TV ghost hunters and spent years collecting some of the most creepy, evil, and possessed trinkets this world has to offer. So what's an ex-ghost hunter to do with all his haunted memorabilia? Why, make a haunted museum, of course. If you dare visit the museum today, you'll find the items encased in glass and behind velvet ropes to keep you from touching them. But that doesn't stop the frightening spirits that haunt them from freaking out the patrons anyways. Inside the museum are 30 rooms, each filled with cursed items and riddled with haunted spirits, such as haunted dolls, a cursed rocking chair that is believed to be the inspiration behind the actual haunting in the movie The Conjuring, and the original dieback box. The dieback box, for those that are not aware, is believed to be the most haunted object on the planet. The dieback originates from Jewish folklore and is an evil entity that will possess the living and never leave. And as legend goes, you are never to open the dieback box. Otherwise, the entity will escape.
I did enjoy the music.
In its path. Coming
That
in
is
at
more
number
my
5,
style of
the
music.
Hoover Dam.
I will
This
admit.
popular tourist destination spanning the Colorado River between Arizona and Nevada is revered as a spectacular feat of engineering. The construction on this behemoth began back in 1931 and it took 5 years to complete. But make no mistake, the history of this dam is not a squeaky clean slate. In fact, it's said that a whopping 112 people died during its construction.
But we've got a couple more of these before I'll play something else.
The dam to this day. And if that was rumor has it that some of the workers who fell to their deaths were actually permanently encased in the dam's concrete. While the concrete may encase their physical bodies, their spirits are said to roam the grounds, terrifying anyone who they come into contact with. Many believe the spirits are angry to have lost their lives to the project and are there to take revenge on those who reap the benefits they never got to. Visitors and staff alike have reported cold spots, flickering electricity, equipment malfunctions, and finding missing items turn up in completely inexplicable places as soon as they are on the property. So just be careful if you ever decide to stop on by. You never know what could happen. Next up at number 4, the Overland Hotel and Saloon. Back in the day, the county of Pioche was a near lawless pit filled with danger and bloodshed. Over the years, it's said 72 souls were laid to rest across the county, and it's believed they all remain haunting the grounds to this day. Nicknamed Nevada's liveliest go town, Pioche might have a tamer facade during the day, but at night,
Yeah, let's hope that never happens again, but it probably will, because it's canon!
The most terrifying spot of them all is said to be the Overland Hotel and Saloon. Although the Overland that stands today was rebuilt after a tragic fire in 1948, the spirits that haunt the grounds were not deterred. In fact, some say they even came back with a vengeance. So much so that a few years back, a crew for the TV show Ghost Adventures decided to try their hand and check out the rumors for themselves, and as they tell it, they recorded some of the most successful interactions with spirits at this hotel than anywhere else to date. To be clear, successful for a paranormal investigator pretty much translates to a thing of nightmares for anyone else. To top it off, guests continuously report witnessing shadowy figures lurking in the corners and slamming doors. And some guests even say they've been physically shaken by spirits until they awake. In fact, this place is so haunted that staff say you need to tell them if you want to avoid ghosts, as there are only a few select rooms that the spirits tend to stay away from. That That being said, you are never truly safe from their presence. Coming in at number 3, the Silver Queen Hotel. Built back in 1876, the Silver Queen is just about the oldest hotel in the state, and not much has changed since the days it opened its doors. Beautifully restored to maintain its 19th century authenticity, it's not just the brass hardware that has stayed since the early days, but some of the patrons too. The most famous of which is the ghost of Rosie, believed to be the spirit of a woman of the night who was a frequent and favorite patron of the Silver Queen Hotel in its heyday, but who tragically took her own life in the very hotel she worked in. As the story goes, a few of her clients became violent towards her, and Rosie, depressed and seeing no way out of this life, decided to end it herself in her bathtub of room 11. To this day, it's said room 11 is haunted by her ghost, and those that have stayed there say they routinely hear rattling doorknobs, phantom footsteps, and disembodied voices echo throughout. But she isn't alone. Other frightening ghosts have also made their appearance in the wedding chapel's night cameras, and visitors swear to hear footsteps that sound like clacking along a wooden floor, despite that the hallways are carpeted. I mean, it's just creepy from top to bottom. Next up in our number 2 spot, the Goldfield Hotel.
How you doing there, Elris?
Abandoned and boarded up, back in 1908, it was one of the hottest hotels in town, and it certainly has a spicy legend. As the story goes, back in the day, there was a young woman named Elizabeth who caught the eye of owner George Wingfield. George became quite smitten with the lady and frequently swung by her room for a nighttime visit. However, Elizabeth soon fell pregnant, and George, concerned for his reputation and business, lured her into room 109 at the hotel under false pretenses. Once inside,
fair enough,
he
Elris.
chained
Thank you
Elizabeth
for the
to
head
the
pat,
radiator
and thank you for coming to say
forced her
hello.
stay in
I
the
do
room
appreciate it.
alone until she gave birth. But tragically, Elizabeth died in the room, and so George took it upon himself to deal with her. Situation, allegedly throwing it down a nearby mine shaft. Those who pass by the old hotel today say they can hear the sound of chains clanking against the radiator, and that Elizabeth can be seen walking around room 109 wearing a long white dress and weeping. Some even say they've heard her cries echo in the streets. But it's not just the weeping Elizabeth that haunts these evil halls, but the spirit of a former employee who took their life, as well as George himself. It's believed George remains there, tormenting the poor Elizabeth even in her death, making this place more and more evil as the hours go by. And last up in our number 1 spot is Circus Circus. Since its opening in 1968, Circus Circus has become one of the most famous hotel and casinos in Las Vegas. Over the years, it has of course been the meeting place of countless guests, but it has also been the location of a multitude of crimes, including multiple brutal killings. Most notorious is the tragic case of a mother and son who were found dead in room 123 in what appeared to be a brutal case of the mother taking his life and then her own. No one knows what led the mother to do such a thing, but it's said the pair frequently wander the hotel, and at night the loud screams are often heard echoing throughout the hall. Most terrifying though are the reports of people who have stayed in the room, as apparently the words "Help me" have appeared on numerous occasions scrawled across the bathroom mirror. But it wasn't just brutal killings among family members that went down in these hallowed halls. Believe it or not, there was also apparently a deep affiliation with the American mobster Anthony John Spilotro, who was put in charge of the gift shop to cover for his illegal business dealings. As you can imagine, with mobsters frequenting the establishment, there was quite a lot of bloodshed going on in the shadows, and so many of the other ghosts are suspected to have been the victims of Spilotro and his men. However, some even believe Spilotro himself, who was brutally killed by his employer, haunts the halls hoping to get revenge on the very people who put him in the grave all those years ago. Starting us off at number 10 is Maple Hill Cemetery. Founded in 1822, this cemetery is the oldest and largest burial ground in the state, where roughly 80,000 people have been laid to rest. But with that many souls in one place, it only takes a matter of time before people start noticing something strange happening. While during the day, you may be spared from witnessing a horrifying spirit, it's said at night the tortured souls are unearthed, roaming the grounds in search of answers. Most unsettling is the park on the property, also known as the Dead Playground. Oh gee, that sounds inviting, don't you think? Apparently it's nicknamed that as many young people are buried in the area, and visitors brave enough to see for themselves what goes on claim that at night the trapped souls of the young can be seen playing around the park, while their creepy giggles echo throughout the grounds. But whatever you do, make sure you pay respect to Mary Bibb. If you knock on her mausoleum walls, she will reply with a gentle creak of her rocking chair buried inside. But if you forget to greet her, well, she just might haunt you forever. Coming in at number 9 is Fort Morgan. Said to be one of the most haunted places in all of Alabama, Fort Morgan is rife with ghoulish tales of ghosts and strange occurrences. The most notorious is that of a prisoner who's said to have died here in the early 1900s after he took his own life in the barracks. People say that if you walk past, you can still hear him crying out late at night. But he's not the only one you should fear. There's also a female spirit that wanders the grounds in search of justice after she too lost her life after being dragged into the fort and beaten to death by mysterious attackers who were never caught for the crime. Many believe she is an angry spirit with a vengeance who will torture any man who steps foot on the property. So if I were you, I'd skip this one. Next up at number 8 is Drish.
Oh, that place looks pretty! So pretty.
Welcome
After this song, I'm gonna go pee. Oh wait, you're not supposed to say that on stream anymore, are you? These rules are getting insane. Okay, concerts, fair enough. There are a lot of people in concerts, but I kind of love food. Yeah. I don't know, I prefer the one before this one. Ooh. Okay, I'm gonna go pee, and then we will watch the video that Matt has put up. I'm looking forward to it. Should be interesting. So yeah, I'll be right back. Sorry about this, guys, but when you gotta go, you gotta go. If I fall in, I will take pictures. I'm back. And I didn't know it. What? Yeah, I have returned. How we doing? Did I miss anything
It's a vast
interesting?
place. Nearly any question that comes to mind can be answered with a simple keystroke. Any curiosity can be quelled with a simple search term. And yet, when we hit enter and look upon the very answer we sought out to find, many of us experience a very peculiar kind of cognitive dissonance. The answer you sought out is grotesque and disturbing. And yet, you can't look away, and you don't know why. It's almost like coming to grips with our morbid reality is a task fit for no one. Misery loves company. Despair can never exist in a vacuum. Keep these thoughts in mind for the story that I'm about to tell you, because this man, Jack Graham, is the embodiment of both sentiments. John Gilbert Graham was born on January 23rd, 1932, in Denver, Colorado. His mother's name is Daisy Graham, and she had her son with her second husband, whose name is unknown. Unfortunately, Daisy Graham had to raise Jack during the Great Depression. Already, Daisy didn't have any money, and unfortunately, her husband couldn't contribute either. 5 years after Jack was born, his father would die from pneumonia, and this was 1937, the literal height of the Great Depression. His mother simply could not take care of Jack, so she made a decision to drop him off at an orphanage and never see him again. In 1941, his mother chose to remarry, this time to someone named Earl King, who shortly died after their marriage. Using her inheritance from King's death, Daisy became a successful businesswoman. She was able to use that money to establish many restaurants, and although she's established herself as a wealthy woman, she never reclaimed Jack. He remained at the orphanage until he was 18 years old, and once he wanted to reconnect with his mom, the relationship became estranged. He felt that she had abandoned him, and any time in public that they were seen talking, it was always an argument. This backstory is important to establish because his childhood and his estrangement from his mom established a motive for his next action. At 6:52 p.m. on November 1st, 1955, the United Airlines Flight 629, with 44 people on board, was planning on flying from Denver, Colorado to Portland, Oregon. Approximately 11 minutes into the flight, 39 passengers,
It is Morbid Monday, and I appreciate it when you guys actually
Graham,
do give me
moments before the
videos
flight took off,
that are thematically
stashed a bomb
appropriate.
on board
I
with
really
the
do.
intention to kill his mom, who was on board, and receive insurance money from her death. The insurance claim was approximately $37,500, which is equivalent to $380,000 in today's money. No one knows exactly how the bomb got onto the plane, but they do know that Graham was involved because the bomb was suspiciously similar to a firebomb at one of his mother's restaurants. And coincidentally, that restaurant was insured under his name. He collected some money for that restaurant burning down. The criminal trial that ensued was the first ever in the state's history to be televised. And interestingly enough, there was no federal statute on the books at the time, 1955, that made it a crime to blow up an airplane. So the judge decided to prosecute Graham with one murder, his mother. There was evidence of premeditation because he designed and placed the bomb on board with the expectation that she'd die, and she did. Jack Gilbert Graham was sentenced to death for his crime, and executed on January 11th, 1957. His execution method was the gas chamber. This is Jessica and Daniel Groves, and they're both drug addicts. Their consistent abuse of drugs led to them neglecting their child and preferring drug use over parenting. This is 2-month-old Dylan Groves, and custody over him was withdrawn from his parents because a doctor observed and identified methamphetamines being found in his blood. His parents took an offense to losing custody over their child. Even though it was temporary, they didn't want that to ever happen again, but at the same time, they didn't want to have a child either. Dylan was killed in late March of 2020. Nobody knows how, because his body wasn't found until June. His body was placed in between 2 milk crates and weighed down with chains and thrown into a lake. The autopsy report noted that he had rib fractures, leg fractures, and skull fractures. And after being arrested relatively quickly after Dylan was discovered, an Ohio jury convicted the couple of multiple charges in the death of their infant son. Unfortunately, the length of their sentencing was not released to the public, but it's safe to assume that both of them will be in prison for a long time because they received 11 counts of murder each.
Oh, wow.
This is John Huron, born January 25th, 1981,
I don't know how
and is of
parents do
Swedish
that.
and Czech descent.
It
And
just
in this
doesn't.
image of him, he's 14 years old. And on one night, he was camping with a friend. They had a fire going by a small lake near a town named Code in the Kunglov municipality. While the two teens were minding their business and having some fun, 4 young men approached them, ages between 15 and 18. The men had ties to the small National Socialist subculture and had bullied John for some time in school, and it wasn't different in this situation. They were beating up on him, kicking him in the ribs and punching him in the face, attempting to force him to say that he loved National Socialists. John refused. He didn't believe in their ideology and didn't want to be bullied anymore, so he chose to hold his ground. But these men kept beating him. At one point, they picked him up and threw him into the lake and forced him to swim back
going
to shore.
alright.
And if he didn't, they threatened to beat up his friend instead. He didn't want that, so he chose to swim back. Once at the shore, they continued to beat him, so much so that he had multiple broken bones. And after they were done, they chose to pick him up again and throw him into the lake. This time, John had no strength left to swim or keep himself above water, so he drowned. The young men quickly left the scene.
I know, right?
While Christian called the police
That is
and attempted
awesome.
to get some help.
I
The
beat
boys
Grim
were quickly caught.
and the false
subculture
lord.
was known in the town, and Christian
Traitor
possibly
Lord.
identified the teens who were involved. The 18-year-old
And
ringleader
a couple of
was
the
sent
Dream
to 8
Warriors.
years in prison for murder. So did the 15-year-old boy. He was sent to 5 years youth imprisonment for murder. The other 2 young men who were involved were sentenced to less than a year in prison for murder. John's story was spread throughout the entire town, and he was awarded the Stig Dagerman Award for free speech because of his actions of not giving in to the 4 young men who tried to beat him for his beliefs.
Oh.
This is Leon Davis Jr. He's 33 years old.
Is
and
he
a
wearing
nobody.
eyeliner?
Yet he garners a reputation.
He looks
a
like he's
seriously
wearing
infamous
eyeliner.
one in the state of Florida. You see, Leon Davis Jr. likes to harm people, typically innocent people who just happen to be in his way. And on December 7th, 2007, he began working on that infamous reputation. Leon chose to enter a gas station at night along Interstate 4 in Polk County. Once he entered the gas station, he encountered 2 workers. Their names were Pravin Kumar Patel, 33 years old, and 55-year-old Dashrath Patel. After Leon walked up to the counter, he brandished a pistol in front of their faces and asked for money. And quickly after that, he shot both men in the face. Quickly, police were alerted that they were shooting to the gas station, and interestingly enough, Leon didn't steal any money. He just decided to murder the store clerks and then walk out the store. Unfortunately, this isn't the end to Leon Davis's story. 6 days later, Leon decided to rob a nationwide insurance office in Lake Wales, which was run by 26-year-old Yvonne Bustamante,
Because he forgot
whom
to rob the
Davis
last
actually
one.
knew, and 23-year-old Juanita Luciana, who was 5.5 months pregnant. Once inside, at gunpoint, he forced both women into the back office and threatened them to open up the safe.
Longer death that way.
$900 was stashed inside, and Leon stole that. Quickly after stealing the money, he taped Juanita and Yvonne together. They sat back to back on chairs, and then he doused both of them in gasoline and lit them on fire. Police officers and firefighters were on their way quickly, though. People had reported that there was a fire burning at the nationwide office, and interestingly enough, the fire burned through the tape, giving both Yvonne and Juanita a chance to survive. But unfortunately, once the police and fire department arrived, both women were already critically injured. Both women were quickly hospitalized, and Juanita was the one who pointed out Davis as the perpetrator before she succumbed to her injuries and died. Yvonne would soon pass away too, and Davis would be charged with an additional 2 murders on top of the 2 that he committed at the gas station. The trial was swift. Davis actually turned himself in after those 2 murders, and he would be convicted of 5 counts of first-degree murder, 2 counts of attempted first-degree murder, 1 count of robbery, 1 count of attempted robbery with arson, and 6 counts of grand theft. And he was given the death sentence for all of these crimes. He was executed on April 29th, 2011. This is Shannon Kepler. He's a member of the Tulsa Police Department, and his story begins in 2014. He and his wife Gina were having a difficult time with their adopted daughter Lisa. So instead of working with her and trying to build a relationship, they waited until she was 18 and dropped her off at a homeless shelter. They didn't want anything to do with her. They simply didn't want to be parents anymore because of her behavior. They dropped her off at the homeless shelter without any personal possessions, including money, cell phone, credit cards, or clothes. She was supposed to just fend for herself and build a life without any help. Months pass, and Gina gets a boyfriend. Her father, Shannon, was alarmed by that. You see, he found out that his adopted daughter was dating through her Facebook account. She had changed her status from single to being in a relationship. She had met and started dating a volunteer that was working at the homeless shelter, and his name was Jeremy Lake. He was 19 years old. While still on active duty at the Tulsa Police Department, Shannon requested a records clerk to search police databases to gather information on Lake before printing out the police records about him. He learned that Lake was a victim of child abuse at a very young age and was previously charged as a juvenile after pushing a social services worker. These charges were eventually dropped. All of those things weren't necessarily alarming to Shannon. He didn't care about the 19-year-old's background, he cared about the 19-year-old's race. Jeremy Lake was mixed race, and Shannon Kepler didn't want his daughter dating him. So Shannon decided to do something about it. He
But
pulled
if
up
you
to Lake's
drop
Tulsa
her at a
address,
place like
and
that, you
around
don't
9
have
p.m.
any
on August
fucking
5th,
right.
Kepler observed his daughter and Lake walk together with some of their friends and approached them in bid to talk to his daughter. She had no interest in speaking to him and accompanied Lake into his house. Jeremy Lake would attempt to introduce himself to Shannon, but Shannon pulled out his service revolver and shot him twice. Jeremy died instantly. Shannon then decided to turn around quickly and fire at everyone that saw the shooting. The witnesses that he fired at included his daughter and Jeremy's 13-year-old little brother. Shannon quickly jumped into his SUV and fled the scene. In court, he said he fled the scene because he knew his fellow police officers were going to look for him. He also said that the shooting was self-defense, stating that Jeremy got the jump on him, and Shannon also asserted that he saw Jeremy pull out a pistol from his waistband. Police officers and investigators said that there was no pistol at the scene. It would take 3 years for his trial to begin, and at the age of 61 he was found guilty of murder and sentenced to 25 years in prison.
Fuck knuckle.
This is a gibbet. It's a gallows-type structure from which dead or dying bodies of criminals were hanged on public display to deter other existing potential criminals. Occasionally, the gibbet was also used as a method of execution, with the criminal being left to die of exposure, thirst, or starvation. This is the gibbet of Montfaucon. It was the main gallows and gibbet of the kings of France until the time of Louis XIII. It was a very large structure, and it was used to execute criminals, often traitors, by hanging and to display their dead bodies as a warning to the population. It was located on a small hill in Paris and first built in the late 13th century, and it was used until 1629 and dismantled in 1760. It appears in the backgrounds of multiple paintings of Paris, including this one that depicts the St. Bartholomew's Day massacre in 1572. And during that massacre, the body of a high-ranking admiral named Gaspard II was slain, and his body was dragged on top of that small hill and displayed in the gibbet. He was hung upside down by the feet, and his body was left there to rot until it fell off the rope.
Well, that's cold.
Imagine for a moment that someone breaks into your house. You hear them rummaging around your stuff, throwing things into a bag, breaking things, and you have no means to protect yourself. What's the first thing that you do? A lot of people think to escape, right? This woman did. She chose to escape from her bedroom window onto the roof with the intention to jump off and escape. At this point, police officers were on their way, and the men and women of the neighborhood were watching this entire ordeal go down. And at the start, it seemed that she was going to be able to get away, but this photo says otherwise. Immediately after she crawled out of the window, the assailant followed her out. He's holding a weapon with the full intention of finding her and harming her, and the only thing that she can do is hide under the roof, hoping that he doesn't find her, hoping that he would go back inside. Unfortunately, I don't have any more information for you. Nobody knows if she got away safely. Nobody knows if she was harmed. But what we do know is that she was terrified and all out of options.
Yeah?
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Ailurus, aka Panda Daddy, and I hope you enjoyed today's video. And if you did, let me know in the comments down below, and leave a like if you liked the video. And if you're new to my channel, go ahead and subscribe, fam. What you doing watching videos and not subscribing? And if you're old, make sure you hit that bell so you get these notifications every time. I know you guys have been looking forward to r/Morphin Reality 11, and I wanted to drop it on Saturday instead of Friday because I wanted to put some extra time into it, and a lot of you guys were looking forward to it. I also wanted to upload this video on the day that I uploaded the first 3 videos to my second channel, Ailurus After Hours. If you really like morbid reality content, if you really like true crime content, dark history, scary stories, whatsoever, feel free to take a look at the channel because it's meant for y'all.
If you haven't seen the SMG4 movie, It's Gotta Be Perfect just dropped, and you should go definitely check it out. Also, we have a SMG4 It's Gotta Be Perfect movie merch line. We got the SMG4 hat, SMG4 3 pins, SMG3 plushie, and we got the SMG4 movie poster signed by me and Kevin. You can get all this at smg4.store, but be quick, there's only 3 days left to get 15% off the merch items. And with that, SMG3, can you take it away? Take us to the video, please.
Please help me. I'm still trapped inside the plushie. Please, I don't like it in here.
Yes!
This is so nice. See, I'm a hungry.
That's a lot of spaghetti.
Hey, Stinky. Oh, yeah.
Hey, dude. You sure this is okay?
Here we go! Oh, mamma mia!
You didn't tell Luigi. Just temporarily, since Peach's castle and my room is gone, so I need a new place to stay.
Let's go!
It's a potato!
Huh? Mario! Oh no! Mamma mia!
What? I'm not taking Luigi's bed.
All done!
Mario, no! I can't impose on Luigi.
No problem!
A holiday? Is that where he went?
Yes.
Well, if that's the case, time to move in.
Let's go!
Fair enough.
Nothing unusual.
Yeah.
Huh? You're gonna need this, Luigi. What? Why would I need
Hey,
this?
I'm hungry. Have you got any food?
Now the taser makes sense.
Dead. Stop it. Stop it. Okay. Okay? Okay. All right.
Oh, where? This was all a trick. I deceived you.
Well, I'm gonna go shower. Yo, where's the bathroom?
Oh.
What?
Doesn't have one?
No, Mario!
Oh no!
Job's done.
Mario, you idiot! I guess. Let me guess. You don't have a place to brush your teeth either.
Brush teeth?
What's it then?
Uh-oh!
Okay, finally time to start working.
His name is Donkey Kong, and he is round.
Down, down.
That's a lot of sauce, my guy.
Huh? Mario, do you have a place I can work in quiet?
Oh, I got it.
Oh no.
Mario, that basement smells like death and sadness. Well, I ain't working here.
Hello.
Hello, by Twitter Premium.
So happy to see you again. You got what you wanted.
Ugh, whatever. What? What the? Mario, what the hell are you doing?
I'm a thirsty.
Can you keep it down, please?
Oh, hi there, Goo. How you doing, Gooey? Uh-oh. I do. All you have to do is be a follower of mine, and I will have to videos when I get to that part of the queue.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Thank you for the follow the doing. I appreciate it.
Oh, no, you don't. We're cleaning this together.
Gee, it sure is
boring.
Oh, and it can't.
What if Mario shifted into
Maximum overdrive?
Mario? Mario?
Check it out, I'm going to do a Tony Hawk.
Mario!
Hello!
Can you focus on cleaning for 1 sec, dude? I've got so much other stuff I have to do.
Oh. Oh.
Let's go! Spaghetti.
Screw it. I'm gonna go make lunch.
Yeah, boy. Piss.
Mario, where's the food? Let me guess. Luigi does the groceries. Say, Mario, why don't you go to the store and get me some meat? I'll cook us some steaks. Ah, peace and quiet.
I did it!
Yo, what's up? Mario, this is a whole cow!
Yes.
That's it! I've had it!
That thing is cake. It was cake.
This empty for.
Where'd everybody go?
I'm out of here, man. I'm sorry. I can't live with you.
Oh.
Yeah.
You killing your brethren? Is that why?
Ow! Oh, hey Luigi. Back from your vacation? Oh, sorry man. Your brother's just too hard to live with.
Understatement.
I don't know. Maybe I'll just find a nice cardboard box somewhere.
Here we go!
Wait, are you sure?
Okay.
Would you excuse me for a moment?
Let's go!
Thank you, Mario. This will only be temporary till I find a new home.
Hi.
Bye bye. Bye bye.
Woohoo! I'm not a homo anymore!
Hey Luigi!
Thank you so much. Nice game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah!
I don't know, man. Seems kinda gay.
I'm gonna go with the new one. Just
No, Dwight, you heard the first
shorter
Baldy!
than the others.
How could you do that? You hurt my own kind!
I have the key. I have in pain. I have more things to suck down here. I got you, bro. I'm offering you moral support.
I hate when this happens.
Oh,
Help me! I am in immense pain! I got the cannon. It's time. The baby's acquired power.
We're going to beat you to death.
Oh dear God.
Mission accomplished. This is without my consent.
That was nice.
I hate it here. Okay, but this is great.
Yeah, it was.
I enjoy that.
I think it's time to go fist mode.
Oh dear God.
Wait,
He's fisting
what?
everything in sight.
He's going fist mode. I'm drowning. Meta Knight loves you.
I love myself.
Stack up team attack.
You're right. Our secret technique. Everyone get in sync.
It's time.
3, 2, 1, go! Boom! The power of friendship compels you!
Let me out! Let me out! No. A new challenger approaches.
It's kind of terrifying how I'm just on top of the person who's destroying my own kind. Like, I'm gonna go extinct at this point.
Look, it happens.
It happens. Just, genocide happens. Kirby endorses genocide. I hope you're happy.
Big nut! Big nut!
Alright, it's time to go.
Bigger nut! Whoa, what the hell was that?
Sphere Doomer.
Sphere Doomer? What the hell is this, like, Eldritch God?
Is this still a baby game to you, Harry?
I'm a dab.
Not again!
Hello?
Kirby, I'm coming. I'm coming for you. I'm gonna pop you. I'm gonna pop you. Boop. Gotcha.
Very
Oh my God, he's so really.
Why are you still eating him? I'm keeping him safe.
Wow, you got a fire ability underwater. I wonder how well that's gonna work.
This guy's a nerd. Look at this nerd. He's probably streaming right now. He's probably streaming nerd.
Hey guys, what's wrong with streaming?
Live stream today. I'm going to be playing Kirby.
Do you put the cereal or the milk first? Kirby, this is not the time to ask such questions.
I put the bowl first, actually. I need no sympathy.
That's a good smart-ass response.
I really appreciate you. And that's cringe, bro. I love you.
Hey, I will handle this. I will handle this, okay? Just let me be. With my brothers in arms. Look at the dancing. You idiot! Why? I need a moment. You all have fun. I'm just gonna walk away. Just gotta take it all in.
Are you okay?
No, I am not okay!
Is it because I keep killing your brethren? Is that why?
You know, maybe, possibly, that could be a slight hindrance on my emotions. Hey guys, look how hard I can cry.
When the pink hero takes flight.
When the blue knight sneezes.
When the bandana wearer kicks. Oh yeah, right. While we're getting our butts kicked, let's take a brief intermission to read up on some lore.
Wait, what?
I hate you all.
It's Knuckle Joe! Knuckle
Joe's
Joe!
dead! Hey, who's Joe?
Shut up.
Look, it's just a little worm baby. He killed the worm baby. Okay, I'm gonna go cry in the corner now.
Ice cream is mine. It's my ice cream. You can't have any.
I got some ice cream. Gimme!
I want some ice cream.
That's what you get for not sharing! Lose some weight,
My
fatty!
hair on the head!
Help me!
The Hulk doesn't knock it!
You must pay
For the
all
head!
your crimes! Big hammer!
Oh, that's just compensating. Hey, all I'm saying is there's only 3 characters here that are in Smash.
Wow! Oh! Look, my buddies, my friends are dead. They killed them. My friends are all dead.
Yes, they're all dead.
Oh, okay.
Suffering, I am in immense amounts of pain. I am suffering. You okay?
No, because he's in pain. Harry, look, it's me!
It's literally me! We're fighting Goku! How can we succeed?
No way, he literally is Goku! Wait! I feel so bad for British people and King Dedede mains. I mean, they're the same. Like who's more oppressed?
They're the same!
I summon thee! Is that what it sounds
so
like? I don't think I heard the same thing you did. I'm not even Kirby. Yeah, you're not Kirby. You're just dead. I love you, Barnier. I love you too, Kirby, except when you're murdering my own kind.
I have DDD pressure.
Hey! Big D!
Big Waddle D!
No! I hope you choke on that D.
Verdius!
What? Wait, no! That's not what I meant! Kirby King!
Yeah, we did it first try!
Oh, it's just right there.
It's right there.
Yeah, we did it.
Grabbed it.
Wow, that was easy.
We did it! Dude,
Wait.
What?
Well,
why did you grab it, Waddle Dee?
Wait, I thought, was it not a good idea? Oh, it was not a good idea. Oh, I see the problem now.
Warning, your tier 3 sub to Ninja is about to expire.
I will kill that dragon. I will literally stab.
I'll kill the dragon.
I'm here too, I guess.
I mean, if I have to.
Bruh.
Yo, encore, encore, do it again.
Honestly, guys, the more that I think about it, a billion lions is a lot of lions.
Kirby Supernova, GG, got him, good games, no more discussion from there.
Can we talk about how Kirby's dead?
Yeah, that's pretty sad. Yeah, but a billion lions didn't do that. Can y'all just like live? Hey, have you ever tried existing for like more than 5 seconds?
Am I dead?
Watch out! No! The tomato. Oh, it's fine. It's okay. That's just the Kirby can opener.
Oh my god, he's a rocket ship!
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna rocket shit out of his butt!
That doesn't seem very legal.
This dude is actually trying to commit vehicular.
Look out!
The whole gang's here, guys, don't worry.
Yeah, close enough.
We did it, guys!
Wait, say, aren't you missing a member? Ah, never mind.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, man, it was pretty funny though.
Jump over.
If there was a graph of my mental state as DDD, it would be like a death slide down. Kirby's return to therapy.
In my time of knowing you, I have come to know all your strengths and all your weaknesses. Meta Knight, your cunning and wiseness, very strong for the team.
I don't know where you saw that.
Your strength, skill, kindness, very good.
And
Kirby, you're so overpowered, it's not even fair to the game. You carry this team on your back. You are so overpowered, we might as well not even be here. Thank you for contributing to the team. Can you
Glory! To glory!
They got them pronouns, not because they're non-binary, but because they're literally 4 people.
I gotta pee. I gotta pee. Help me. I gotta pee, bro.
This isn't Hawaii. 3, 2, 1, go!
Let my team attack!
Yeah!
The power of friendship compels you!
What is that?
The evil is finally defeated. That's right, Magalore. You were cringe all along.
We killed the guy who owns the Star Cutter. Does that mean that we own the Star Cutter now?
That's how property damage works, sure. Hey, did you see how cool I was? Yeah, I died like 4 times. It was so cool.
Bye, boat.
Oh, goodbye, friends.
Bye, flying boat and dragon.
Goodbye, everyone. Thanks for watching.
Like and subscribe.
No. Okay. You happy, Gooey? Is it more him or is it just credits? Just credits.
All played horror games. We have jumped from jump scares and logged off because we couldn't handle the scares. But if this happens to you in real life, you can't pause, you can't log off, and especially once it catches you, you can't restart. Today, I'll be talking about horror games based on true events. What's up, guys? Welcome back, and today I'll be talking about horror video games based on true events because this will be a spin-off video to my last video, which instead of talking about horror movies based on true events, I will be talking about horror games based on true events. And by the way, before this video does start, I just have to say thank you so much because the channel has officially hit 10,000 total views. So thank you to everybody.
That's awesome!
Videos, and yeah, I know.
Good for you!
60% of those views came from Tuv, but I still made the video and I should still take some credit, you know what I mean? But thank you so much for the support, and also don't forget to like and subscribe, and also share this video on your Instagram story and tag me at Morbid for Fun, because in all my videos I tell myself that I will promote my Instagram, but I just always forget to do it. I don't know why, so make sure to follow me over there because I post the weirdest things as possible for no particular reason. So other than that, let's get straight into this video. Fears of Fathom Home Alone. Fears of Fathom Home Alone is a new indie horror game, and this game has recently blown up, with many top gaming YouTubers playing this game already. In the game, you're home alone and somebody breaks in. If the intruder finds you, he would kill you. This video game is claimed to be based on a true story, but while researching it, I couldn't really find anything on this. When you search up, is Fears of Fathom Home Alone a true story, it will just tell you that it is an episodic psychological horror game and it features multiple stories for the player to experience. What sets Fears of Fathom apart is the fact that its episodes are based on real life stories. Even when I dig some more research, I still couldn't find any specific stories that the game is based on, so my conclusion is that the game is just based on home invasions in general, a crime that does happen in real life. So this game is not inspired by a particular story. It is just based on the fact that stuff like this does happen in real life, so it is kinda lame that there's no real story behind the making of this game. So yeah, this game isn't technically based on specific stories, it is based on home invasions in general, like I said. So stuff like this does happen in real life and it is pretty realistic, so I wouldn't be too surprised if it was based on a true event or very similar to a true event. So game developers of this game, don't sue me, but I assume that you guys just called it based on true events just to boost sales. But look, that is just my theory. While researching, I literally couldn't find anything that this game is based on a real specific story, but hey, if it is based on home invasions in general, it is pretty cool, not gonna lie. And the game is fun, like I would probably play, and I'm pretty sure the Home Alone episode is free to play. Could be wrong, but if you guys have not yet played it, I recommend it because it does look like a pretty cool game. Chernobylite. Set in a hyper-realistic 3D scanned wasteland of Chernobyl's explosion zone, you'll take on the role of Igor, a physicist and ex-employee of the Chernobyl's power plant. Returning to Pripyat to investigate the mysterious disappearance of his fiancée, 30 years prior, the wasteland was caused by a nuclear-botched power plant explosion that made the wasteland. Trying to find your fiancée, you have to fight a boss called the Black Stalker, and this game does seem pretty fun, and this game is actually based on the Chernobyl power plant explosion. Chernobyl is located in Ukraine, and before evacuation, it used to be the home of 14,000 people. Chernobyl was the first place in Ukraine to ever have nuclear power plants, but on April 26, 1986, Reactor 4 exploded and is now a ghost town where around 600 people still live there. Wildlife has taken over and animals live there more than humans. It is also the most radioactive place in the world. So yeah, Chernobylite, it is based on the real events of the Chernobyl explosion, but keep in mind, after the true events, the video game is all fiction, but the beginning part is, yeah, it's basically based on real life. Outlast 2. In 2013, video game Outlast features a journalist named Blake Lingerman along with his wife Lynn, roaming the Arizona desert to explore the murder of a pregnant woman, only known as Jane Doe. Both get separated in a helicopter crash, and Blake has to find his wife while traveling through the village inhabited by a deranged sect that believes the end of days are upon them. This game is based on Jonestown Massacre. The story of Jonestown begins with Jones, a white minister who preached unconventional socialist and progressive ideas to a predominantly African-American congregation called the People's Temple. At the height of its popularity, during the 1970s, the temple had a membership estimated in the thousands and was courted by local politicians in San Francisco, including Harvey Milk. But by 1977, Jones had grown paranoid from the media's scrutiny over the temple's suspicious activities. So he and his numerous followers moved to an agricultural settlement, aka Jonestown, in Guyana. The remote country east of Venezuela, concerned over the welfare of those in the jungle encampment, prompted U.S. Congressman Leo Ryan to visit Jonestown in November 1978. After checking out the settlement, Ryan was shot in the head along with 4 other people by temple gunmen. Following those murders, Jones commanded his followers to drink cyanide-laced punch, starting with the children first. In all, there was over 900 people who died in Jonestown, including Jim Jones, who was found dead with a gunshot wound to his head. There is speculation that he may have taken his own life, or that his nurse Annie fatally shot him before she killed herself in the same manner. And before the 9/11 attack, this was considered the largest number of American civilian casualties in a single non-natural event. This was reported by Press A to Join. Philip Morin, the co-founder of Red Barrel Games, and the people behind Outlast 2 had an interview with Indie Games Level Up in which they discussed story inspiration of the game. Morin stated in that interview that one of the main inspirations for Outlast 2 was a lot of research into the Jonestown Massacre, which he said has been dubbed to be the biggest mass suicide ever recorded in history. Silent Hill 2. Silent Hill 2 is about James, a man who is searching the demonic town Silent Hill for his dead wife Mary. He is doing this because he received a letter from Mary telling him she's waiting for him in Silent Hill. But as you play, you encounter James' demons, and you must discover the true reason why he came to Silent Hill. The town of Silent Hill, West Virginia, is actually based on Centralia, Pennsylvania. In May 1962, the town ordered to have the local landfill burn in an attempt to clean up the waste. The fire spread through unsealed tunnels and openings that led into an abandoned coal mine, and the waste turned into a raging fire, and the firefighters couldn't take out the fire. So the government decided to evacuate the town, and the fire still burns to this day after 60 years. If you breathe that air, you could potentially die because you are literally breathing in waste. And in 2002, the town's zip code was suspended by the United States Postal Service, and all roads leading into Centralia have since been barricaded. Silent Hill does follow this history to the exact detail, but instead of being plagued by a cult, witches, and multi-dimensional monsters, Centralia has been abandoned because the waste was lit on fire and the fire is still burning after 60 years. Colot. This game is actually very similar to the real event, since when you first start the game, you actually get the real story as the intro. Colot is an indie survival horror game developed by Polish developers IMGN.pro, in which the player controls the protagonist who is tracing the steps of a group of 9 Russian college students who went missing in February 1959 on Kolat Shiakol. Igor led a journey to reach the peak of Otorin, a mountain in the northern Urals of Soviet Russia. The young man brought a team of 8 experienced hikers, many from the Ural Polytechnical Institute, along with him for the adventure. Before he left, Igor had told his sport club members that he and his team would send a telegram as soon as they returned. But the telegram was never sent, and none of the hikers of the so-called Igor Pass incident were ever seen alive again. The Soviet government closed the case quickly and offered the only thin explanation, saying that the hikers died due to hypothermia because they were inexperienced and that maybe something like an avalanche was at fault. But with that explanation clearing up almost none of the lingering questions, amateur sleuths have been puzzling over the mystery of the Igor Pass incident for the last 60 years. And while Russia government did reopen the case in 2019, we still don't know exactly what happened on that snowy mountainside all those years ago. When their bodies were found in the coming weeks, their strange and gruesome injuries left investigators baffled and repulsed. Some were missing eyes, another was missing her tongue, and many were struck by a force comparable to that of a speeding car, but nobody could make sense of it. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre Atari 2600. This isn't anything new if you're coming from my last video where I did talk about horror movies based on true events, and in today's video, like you guys already know, I'm talking about horror games based on true events, and of course the game is based on the movie and the movie is based on true events, so it's the same story, but I am not going to go over it because I already explained it in my last video, so go check that out after this one. But basically, Ed Gein was the inspiration of Leatherface, and Ed Gein is a cannibal dude who loved to make furniture out of women flesh. And to be honest with you guys, the only reason why I want to talk about this again briefly is because I just want to shit on stuff because, yeah, sure, Texas Chainsaw Massacre is somewhat based on true events, but the title itself, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, number one, Ed Gein didn't technically do a massacre, and also chainsaws were not involved one bit. And lastly, Ed Gein is not even from Texas, so the movie title is pure BS. And yeah, I just want to say that again, even though I already said my last video. So yeah,
Put
the movie
the
title
lotion
is
on
pure
its
BS.
skin or else it gets the hose again!
Games, right now I barely looked at the gameplay of the Chainsaw Massacre for the Atari 2600, and dude, this gameplay, I mean, it's the Atari. What do you expect? Of course it's going to be very pixelated, but I don't know why, but the sound effects used for the chainsaw and him running, I don't know, man, it just gives me the chills. This game isn't even scary at all, but like the sound effects, dude, it just feels super weird. Granny.
The lotion on his skin or else it gets hose again. No!
Okay, so before this part of the video does start, I do want to mention that the Granny video game may not actually be based on true events. After recording, I decided to look back at my research, and the sources used aren't too credible. Only reason why this still made it in the video is because the story is still very interesting and real. I just want you guys to be aware that this may not be based on true events, but if it is true, then that's cool, I guess. AKA Moist Critical's favorite video game to speedrun. Please react to my videos, Moist Critical. Granny video game features an unnamed protagonist trapped in a house needing to solve puzzles while avoiding the Granny antagonist to get out of the house in a time period of only 5 to 6 days. This game
I did
is
hear that was
based
very
on
creepy.
The Granny Ripper, an old Russian lady who murdered 13 people. A family discovered a trash bag with somebody's dismembered torso in their apartment complex. Checking the security cameras, you do see Tamara Samsonova, aka the Granny Ripper, dragging a trash bag with the torso. You can also see her with a pot, and it is claimed that inside the pot is the victim's head and lungs. You would never think that a grandma can ever do these kind of stuff. Well, it gets worse. When investigators entered her place, they saw a large knife covered in blood in the kitchen. Also, blood was splattered all over the bathroom as well. And police also found her diary, which inside is astrology and even black magic. In the diary, the Granny Ripper would write descriptive murders that she has committed dating back 20 years ago. One entry even described her most recent murder, which she was caught for, which was cutting her neighbor's body into pieces while putting them into plastic bags. It is also assumed that she was a cannibal, considering she would talk about cannibalism in her diary. When she was arrested, she was openly willing to confess to all of her crimes that she did in the past, and she is now locked up in prison, and she will also die in prison. Five Nights at Freddy's.
Wait, really? No way.
So
no
this
way.
one isn't as disturbing, and no, this is not based on the Aurora shooting, because when I was on TikTok trying to find some video ideas, I did stumble upon a few videos claiming that Five Nights at Freddy's is inspired by the Aurora shooting that did happen at Chuck E. Cheese, which, by the way, the only reason why I wanted to add this part into the video is because I just want to debunk it. But looking more into it, Five Nights at Freddy's is kinda based on Chuck E. Cheese, but not the way you'd expect. The reason why people think that the shooting can be the inspiration of Five Nights at Freddy's is because the victim's body count matches the same body count as the animatronics. 5 people,
Wait, really?
5 animatronics. And also, MattPat, the game theorist, did talk about this in his first ever Five Nights at Freddy's video, which is meant to be a theory, not a fact. And also, there is a lot of parallels to Chuck E. Cheese and Five Nights at Freddy's because the both mascots have the first letter as their first and last name. The animatronics on stage do look very similar. Chica looks like Helen, and Freddy has the same hat and bow tie as Chucky, and some of the other animatronics from the game does look like the animatronics from Showbiz Pizza, which was later bought out from CEC, which it is the Chuck E. Cheese company. So is Five Nights at Freddy's really based on the Chuck E. Cheese Aurora shooting? Absolutely not, but I will admit, it is a pretty huge coincidence. But I also wouldn't be too surprised if Scott did get some inspiration from the real Chuck E. Cheese restaurant itself, because if you're gonna make a game that is Five Nights at Freddy's, what other place has that in real life that you can take inspiration from? Chuck E. Cheese is like the only place in the US at least that has animatronics, sells pizza, and has a lot of games. So I wouldn't be too surprised if Scott did get some similarities from the actual Chuck E. Cheese restaurant, but hey, that is not a fact, it's just my little theory. But in case you're wondering the real inspiration for Five Nights at Freddy's, well, Scott Cawthon, the creator of FNAF, did have this like very old game that was criticized, saying that the characters—
Oh, I'll be back, guys. I've got to
animatronic
answer the door. I'll be back. I'm back. How we doing? Sorry about that. Turns out my shopping arrived and, well, yeah, I needed to put the cold stuff in the fridge. There's no one else is home. Now I just gotta catch my breath from running across the house with things to go in the fridge.
Like so, yeah, basically Scott got that criticism and turned it into Five Nights at Freddy's, but other than the scary part of Five Nights at Freddy's, it's basically the same thing as Chuck E. Cheese. So Scott himself did not say that he took some inspiration from the real Chuck E. Cheese restaurant, but you know what, the parallels, those cannot be coincidences in my opinion. But what do you guys think? And that is the end of horror games based on true coincidences. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video, because this video was actually very fun to make, and even reading through my research, which by the way, all my sources will be linked in the description below. I just want to make that clear. But yeah, reading through all of this was actually very fun. I don't like to read, to be honest with you guys, but I had fun, I'll admit that, and hopefully I can make more videos like this in the future, and hope you guys also enjoyed this video, and leave it a thumbs up and subscribe if you enjoy all my videos. I mean, if you haven't seen all my videos, I do recommend so, because so many of you guys love my videos, which does mean a lot to me. And also check me out on Instagram at Morbid for Fun if you want to see weird photos for some odd reason. But other than that, I'll see you guys in my next video. See you guys.
Revolution Week at AEW. AEW! San Francisco with 3 big events. Hi, it's Tony Schiavone. Tonight we come to you with AEW Dynamite from the historic Cow Palace live on TBS at 8/7 Central. This Friday, it's AEW Rampage, again back at the Cow Palace. And this Friday, we are live on TNT at 10/9 Central. And then this Sunday, we bring you AEW Revolution live from the Chase Center in San Francisco, exclusively on pay-per-view at 8/7 Central. Tonight, the AEW All-Atlantic title will be on the line as Orange Cassidy will defend against Big Bill of the Firm.
This Wednesday on Dynamite, Orange Cassidy against our guy, Big Bill. He might be half the size of Big Bill, but he's twice as powerful, especially his orange punch. He can jump pretty high too. It doesn't matter how tall he is, it'll take him down. Right? You gonna do that? You're gonna make me look bad if you don't do that.
I'm gonna have to. I mean, what else am I gonna do? Pick him up?
Yeah, he'll pick him up too. He'll pick him up.
I'm gonna choke slam him.
Ooh. Yeah, he'll pick him up. He'll grab him by the throat. He'll lift him high in the sky and drive him straight to hell. You wanna do that?
Okay.
All right, that's what we're doing.
And when you look at the stats on paper, woo, my man Big Bill standing at 7 foot tall. My man Big Bill.
He's giant!
At 300
He's giant!
pounds. My man Big Bill actually tries, and when he tries, Orange Cassidy, bye-bye, Miss American Pie. Woo!
What the fuck is wrong with that guy?
Atlantic champion. What happens then?
To think that that's the way to put it.
Can he swim?
Big Bill won't become the All.
He's not going to. I don't even know if he can swim, to be quite honest. I don't think he can take that title.
Yep.
Champion swimmer right here, Olympic level.
Yep.
Big Bill represents one of the, pardon the pun, biggest challenges ever to Orange Cassidy, the AEW All-Atlantic title. Also tonight, 8 men will vie for a future shot at the TNT Championship, as for the first time ever, the face of the Revolution ladder match will be live on Dynamite. Tonight competing will be Eddie Kingston, Powerhouse Hobbs, Ortiz, Takesha, AR Fox, Action Andretti, Sandy Guevara, and the high-flying Lucha Libre sensation Commander.
This ladder match is a huge test for me, but this isn't my first huge test here in AEW. I am going to leave it all on the line out there. I am willing to sacrifice each and every part of this body, and I will not let any man stand in my way of climbing
Look at that
that
woman.
ladder, grabbing that golden ring, and becoming the #1 contender for the TNT Championship.
It'll be finally my shot to show that I'm truly one of the best in the world. My grandmother's 90 years old. My grandmother and my mother, they watch Dynamite every week. The last thing I think of before I go through that curtain is I know my mom and my grandma are watching. To have the whole world know what I'm capable of, I mean, my journey's gonna be far from complete, but that'll be a big checkpoint knocking off everything I wanted to do for the past 15 years.
I fought many times in ladder match. I know how to win. I respect Samoa Joe. I respect Wardlow, but not afraid. I have Japanese strong soul. I can beat you. TNT チャンピオンはな、俺がなる。そのためにもな、踊ろうサモア・ジョー。待っとけよ。ラダーマッチ。俺が必ずチャンピオン。
Like no one ever was.
Why a ladder
match? My real test.
Who thought this was a good idea? I don't care about climbing a ladder. I don't want to be in there with any of you. Well, maybe Ortiz. I'm not doing it. I'm not climbing the ladder. You tell him. You call him. You do whatever you want. You're the agent. Yeah, looking right at you. You're the agent. Go call him. Tell him I'm not doing it. Out of here.
The Face of the Revolution ladder match has become one of the most anticipated yearly events in AEW. TNT champion Samoa Joe will join us on commentary for this match. A week ago, Ricky Starks issued an open challenge, and Peter Avalon came out to accept. And that happened while Chris Jericho was bantering back and forth with Starks. Avalon never made it to the ring thanks to Jericho and the Judas effect with spikes. But Avalon will make it to the ring tonight live on Dynamite as he and Jericho will go one-on-one.
Yeah, they will.
Ricky Starks had an open challenge for the pay-per-view. I was going to answer that.
I'll be back. Someone's back. I got to talk to who got home. I'll be right back. Sorry about this. I'm back!
Challenge. I was ready. I was confident. In my town, Phoenix, Arizona, the people chanting, "We want it." They were ready to see it too. And Chris Jericho put a big halt to that by putting holes in my body with that stupid spiky leather suit. That heavy metal hedgehog. Man, I want to punch him like Sonic and knock his rings out. It absolutely drives me insane what he took from me. Dynamite, I have a shot to redeem myself one-on-one with Chris Jericho. PPA and Chris Jericho, the Ocho. Never happened before, first time ever. I'm ready. I know I'm ready. I'm ready to knock his block off. And make him
knock his block off! I'm gonna knock his block off! I'm gonna knock his block off!
Chris, you nincompoop. You idiot.
Nincompoop?
Think you've noticed?
Really? He went there. He's nincompooped.
Let's see what Avalon can
He went there.
Against the
He said nincompoop.
Jericho.
He said nincompoop. He's nincompoop.
Jericho's nickname
I didn't
now.
even know that was still a word.
Who cares? Anyway, tonight the final spot in our four-way tag team title match at Revolution will be filled in the Casino Tag Team Battle Royale.
Mark Davis, Kyle Fletcher, Aussie Open here, and this Wednesday we are returning to AEW Dynamite, that AEW Casino Battle Royale. We are in that boy, and we are punching our ticket to Revolution.
Been our
Wait, did he just
bring
boom?
gold back to the Dark Order. And
Casino Battle Royale is our last chance to punch our ticket to Revolution in the four-way tag title match.
Top Flight, the coldest tag team in the game, has what it takes to not only hang with the best of the tag teams, but also beat them.
This Wednesday, the Kingdom enters the Casino Battle Royale.
When we cash in all of our chips and we punch our ticket to Revolution and become the fourth team to face the Guns, the Acclaimed, and Lethal and Jarrett. We are the OGK.
But you can call us the Kingdom.
I don't think there's a single tag team in AEW that just has the focus, the determination, the drive to last through the Battle Royal the way that we do. We do not lose focus. We do not get out of that mindset. We are trained killers. We are fighters, and we will throw every last one of them over the top rope.
This is our big
gonna,
shot.
they
Tag team championship. We can do it. I know we can do it. We can win this, and I know we can beat everyone in that match. I mean, we can't be the coldest tag team in the game without any ice, and we need that ice in the form of the AEW World Tag Team titles.
Oh, and Dark Order, if you know what's good for you, stay in the back. Don't even come to the ring. Weil was letzte Woche passiert ist, das wird diese Woche noch viel schlimmer sein.
Right?
Tonight's winners join the Acclaimed, the team of Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal, and the champions, the Guns, on Sunday with a four-way tag team match for the AEW World Tag Team Championship. All right, here's what else is on tonight's card, live on TBS on Dynamite for the Cow Palace. Tonight we will hear from both champion MJF and challenger Bryan Danielson ahead of their 60-minute Iron Man match on Sunday at Revolution for the world title. For the FTW title, Hook, back off suspension, will meet an obviously fired-up Matt Hardy along with Stokely Hathaway. And in the women's division, the red-hot Toni Storm will collide with former AEW Women's World Champion Riho. It's all tonight as we begin Revolution Week live from San Francisco with AEW Dynamite on TBS. Tonight's live
Revolution!
Coming to the event tonight at the historic Cow Palace. Come early. Bell time for you is 4 o'clock Pacific. And a reminder to be sure to join us for AEW Rampage live this Friday on TNT at 10/9 Central. This week, Rampage will be live from the Cow Palace in San Francisco as well on Friday night. Tickets for both Dynamite tonight, Rampage on Friday, both at the Cow Palace, available right now at AEWTIX.com. Also this Friday, immediately following our live Rampage on TNT, tune in for the Countdown to Revolution as we get you ready for this Sunday's big pay-per-view event with exclusive features and interviews. That's the Countdown to Revolution this Friday, 11/10 Central, right after Rampage, live on TNT.
Yeah, some of them were definitely from the WWE. Like Matt Hardy. I used to love watching him and Brother
Dynamite and
Jeff
Rampage
fight.
the same night under the same roof. Come to the Little Caesars Arena on Wednesday, May 10th. And AEW debuts at the brand new Moody Center in Austin, Texas a week later on Wednesday, May 17th. Tickets for both of these May events, Detroit and Austin, will become first available this Friday, March 3rd at AEWTIX.com and Ticketmaster.com. All right, we are set to cap off this week with AEW Revolution. The pay-per-view spectacular will originate from one of the nation's finest modern arenas, the Chase Center, home of the Golden State Warriors. this Sunday at 8/7 Central. You can see the event live on traditional cable and satellite providers, Bleacher Report, select movie theaters, and Dave & Buster's worldwide. Here's what we have so far on the card with this Sunday's Revolution. MJF will defend the AEW World title in a 60-minute Iron Man match against the American Dragon Bryan Danielson. The AEW Women's World title will be decided in a three-way match as the champion Jamie Hayter defends against both Ruby Soho and Saraya. This Sunday at Revolution, there will be a four-way match for the AEW World Tag Team Championship as the Guns defend against the Acclaimed Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal, and the winner of tonight's Casino Tag Team Royale. The AEW World Trio Championship is on the line at Revolution this Sunday as the Elite, Kenny Omega, and the Young Bucks defend against the House of Black. For the TNT Championship, Samoa Joe meets the former champ and his former Ward Joe partner, Wardlow. In a Texas Death Match, where the last man standing is the winner, Jon Moxley battles with Hangman Adam Page. And Ricky Starks meets Chris Jericho with the entire Jericho Appreciation Society banned from ringside. AEW Revolution this Sunday live from the Chase Center in San Francisco, 8/7 Central. This pay-per-view spectacular is available on traditional cable and satellite providers, Bleacher Report, select movie theaters, and Dave & Buster's worldwide. International fans, don't forget to order Revolution, available in international territories through Fight, ppv.com, DAZN, and YouTube. Coming to the event at the Chase Center this Sunday, tickets at AEWTIX.com. But tonight,
really on
Revolution
YouTube
Week with AEW Dynamite live from the historic Cow Palace. We will take the air tonight live on TBS beginning at 8/7 Central. If you're coming to the Cow Palace, don't forget bell time for you is 4 p.m. local, and tickets are available at AEWTIX.com. I'm Tony Schiavone in the Revolution Week Control Center. I'll see you tonight ringside at the Cow Palace and on TBS. We are
Revolution. Ah.
He's a rocket and he's ready to go, cause now the countdown has started and he's ready to blow. He's got the dope sounds bumping and his stereo. Go fast, putting on a show. Don't wanna get yourself together, there's no time to rest. And if you put the time in, he'll put you to the test. He's like a running man in his world, more is less. And if you wanna test him best, bring your best. Don't make me spell it out, bring your best. In this world, where life is strong. In this world, life's an open book. In this world, where compromise does not exist. In his world, the wolves every step meets the rest. In this world, where one is all. In this world, never fear the fall. In this world, where compromise does not exist. His world of wolves every step meets the rest. Running it back again, well, what'd you expect? Coming out to win 10 out of 10. Got a real rough pass. Minds up his memory and straps on his shoes. Cause he's the best there ever was. Haven't you heard the news? In the galactic continental champ, running things. Hyperactive, instrumental in pulling strings. He is the one who understands when the tides will swing. So he's breaking down doors, never fall away. Come on and psych yourself up, cause it's time to play. Bounce to the beats and the rhymes, cause they're here to stay. The one and only marathon man, living the day. Rolling up, coming fast, and they'll blow you away. Because the pressures of this world, they can take their toll. And it's tough to get away when they take a hold. The only way to break free is to break the mold. You can't stop now, rock and roll. Don't stop now, come on, rock and roll. In this world, gotta make your own where life is strong. In this world, life's an open book. In this world, compromise
been streaming for like 6.25 hours, and I think that might be my limit for today. I hope that's alright with you guys. We've definitely achieved some pretty incredible things today. I mean, in Hollow Knight alone, we did something insane. I can't believe that I beat so many of them. Okay, good night, TMNT. But I was about to say it's time to raid. So who should we raid today? Good night, TMNT. So, who should we raid? Who should we raid? Oh, you know who, Zero? Okay. Give me the person to raid, and I shall raid. Copy. And I put them in here. And then jump. I'll never play the Power Wash Simulator.
There is no way out of this world for you.
Well, I'm going to do the raid message because I like to do them because they're fun. And I've got like the best one ever. And yeah.
If you win, you'll have your freedom.
Same.
Last words,
Pyrussy because obsessive. Obsessive.
John Wick, Chapter 4.
Overthrowing.
Nah, beheadments didn't come in until the French Revolution, my friend.
Oh, shit, you're right.
And now let's do a couple of emotes.
Let's see, then we got
a couple of Pyrussies because a lot of you actually
the
have
handrails,
and one Booba Bell.
the Castle Keep rocks.
If you can do them, do them. If you can't,
roof.
then that's okay.
There's actually a
Here's the
fucking
raid
lot
message.
for 99% that we haven't cleaned. Good lord. Cave coin?
I
Cave
really
coins?
do appreciate you guys,
Cave coins?
seriously. You're awesome for hanging out with me all day, and I really do appreciate it.
Yes, right here.
What are any coins? Oh.
Yep, they're right here on the ground.
W-H-A-M
Oh, thank God you're not a resident treasure hunter.
I ain't no Laura.
Go, and let's get this raid underway.
Leroy Jenkins, I ain't none of that.
But yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I really do appreciate it. Oh my god, the achievements we've had were amazing. Yeah, I don't have words how awesome you all are. Thank you for being a part of my community. I really do appreciate it.
Laura, her first name.
Oh.
I shall see you guys next time.
Because I think that's how it is. Like L-O-R-A.
Yeah, I'm Pyra Z, your little fireflower. Now let's get this raid underway, shall we? Let's raid!
The third one is correct.
Is it L.A.?
Let's raid!
Apparently, yeah. Aw, Homer Jade Watson, thank you very much for the follow, much appreciated. And Pyra, thank you very much for the raid, much appreciated. Let me go ahead and give you a shout out.
How do you do for this 5 of you?
Pyracy raid. You know what?